The beast-taming sect, demon-scheming sect, and mystical heaven sect wiped out in a single night, not a soul left breathing. Zhuo Fan's blade is still wet, and the elders of Double Dragon Manor are just beginning to realize they're standing on a powder keg. Hit like and subscribe before the next sect falls. The gentle moonlight fell on the clear pond as the pretty birds around it began to chirp in their beautiful voices. The previous rowdy area now became one of peace. In this scenery, Lioner and the other two were still there. When the blackness vanished and the moonlight shone on their dumb looks, the trio felt their hearts thump harder. They felt like they had survived hell and felt so much better for being alive. They were still looking stunned. Maybe it was the beauty around them, or they didn't want to disturb the mood. Crash! A sound came from the pond, and the waters parted to reveal a man with defined muscles and traced by golden hues as scales began appearing on his skin. His long pitch-black hair danced in the wind like a black dragon. As he approached, his dark eyes absorbed anyone that dared look into them. Zhuo Fan, shaking, Lioner was teary. The utter despair she felt before was now replaced with joy upon seeing Zhuo Fan's familiar face. She did not care about his unclothed disposition. Throwing herself in the arms of her savior and clutching tight to his manly chest, "Zhuo Fan, you're still alive. You scared me to death." Feeling warmth on his chest and the soft girl's body rubbing on him, Zhuo Fan didn't even twitch a muscle. "Miss Lioner, I understand you've been through hell, but can't you at least let me get some clothes first?" Lioner trembled, now realizing her teary face was stuck to his warm chest in direct contact. Looking up, she realized Zhuo Fan was buck naked. "Ah!" Lioner cried out and flicked her head away with a red face. What are you doing coming out naked?" Glancing over, Zhuo Fan flicked his hand and clothes came out of his ring to change. "My clothes dissolved in the swamp, and besides, changing inside the pool will get them wet. It seems to me you have a long way to go before using your head to not have figured this out." Pouting, Lioner snapped, "Are you done changing?" "Yep." Whoosh! Lioner swished around and grumbled at him. Zhuo Fan felt baffled. "What did I do this time?" He sized Lioner up again, pointing at the evident ruined clothes on her chest. "Now that I'm decent, shouldn't you look after yourself?" "Ah!" Lioner shrieked and turned around, rushing to get her clothes fixed. She then looked back with a red face, only to see Zhuo Fan's teasing eyes. What are you grinning at? Don't look. It's not like I haven't seen it before." Zhuo Fan clicked his tongue and flew to the shore. Lioner's face was burning now, with even her ears red. She was taken back to when Zhuo Fan saved her life in Tianyu, when she was the one naked instead. A flood of emotions had her overwhelmed, but most of all feeling embarrassed. Ignoring the Missy's budding affection, Zhuo Fan looked at the other two. They were ecstatic for being saved in the nick of time, and also because Zhuo Fan was fine. The sixth prince was over the moon. Sir Zhuo is truly godlike, killing all those bastards in a blink. "I can't thank you enough." Sixth prince immediately gave a deep bow. "Please, you were after this as well." Zhuo Fan grinned and waved him off. Scratching his head, the sixth prince beamed. "Sir Zhuo is so sharp. I knew I couldn't hide anything from Sir. When we return to the palace, I'll be sure to tell you all about it. I don't want to know. I didn't kill them for you anyway. They were just in my way." Zhuo Fan shook his head. Sixth prince bobbed his head, but Zhuo Fan's look made him hesitate. "Sir Zhuo, how come your hair isn't white anymore?" "To keep my nose down, ha ha ha." Chuckling, Zhuo Fan brought a black strand to his eyes, only to shake his head. The white hair was due to the grief that once assaulted his heart. Maybe because demon transformation art and the swamp had combined that his hair was now raven, if not blacker. A kind of black that came from absorbing anything, even light. Maybe it was the result of his second soul, devouring domain after swallowing everything. Regardless, it wouldn't matter much while being a lone operator. Being eternally away from any friends, the more he changed the better. Zhuo Fan flicked his hand and threw the hair behind before walking towards the pond. He was sure one of the 8 world wind tunnels was inside. That all dragons sketch ain't so crummy after all. Let's set up the drawing array and get it over with. "Ah, what is that?" Lioner cried while pointing at the pond. Everyone looked over and shook. In the pond appeared huge and strange things. Each of them was thousands of meters wide and bore savage looks. But the pond was akin to a mirror, as each creature minded its own business, not even registering they were there. This, however, did not stop their power from shaking their core. These things weren't mere spiritual beasts. Chuoba Liufeng was grave. What are those things? It'd be a disaster if they come out. "Nether Sea," Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. The others looked at him cluelessly. Zhuo Fan did not offer any explanation. The Nether Sea was the biggest ruthless area in the sacred domain. Not even a saint would tread inside it. Scores of 12th grade aquatic spiritual beasts roamed it, while the entire sea was covered in a dark air. It was a place of extreme yin. Anyone's power would drop sharply there. This whirlwind tunnel connected the Nether Sea, which explained the weirdness of this swamp. Affected by the Nether Sea, it changed in a bizarre way. The creatures inside the pond were not really monsters living within it, but what the light of the moon reflected on its surface due to the thick yin that had gathered, allowing a glimpse into the Nether Sea. With that settled, Zhuo Fan started waving his hands around, sending sacred stones all over the pond, disturbing its surface. The trio was afraid of disturbing him. 3 hours later, Zhuo Fan had enough of throwing stones around and made a sign, shouting, "Moon spirit, seal this field of flowers, draw onto the mortal domain until the mountain forms to break the heavens." A spatial ripple passed and the clear pond shook as if the space warped. But then it stilled again like nothing happened. What they saw was the same field of flowers spreading everywhere. Sixth Prince was curious. "Sir Zhu, what about the pond?" "I sealed it." Zhu Fan entered the field of flowers and no longer sank like last time. "The abyssal swamp was no more. I sealed this place so there won't be any more swamp, nor will it open under the moonlight." Sixth Prince nodded. "Is this Sir Zhu's aim?" "Yep." Zhu Fan's eyes shone, then left. "I'm done here, so I'm leaving. Since you've helped me along the way, I'll return the favor to be fair and square." A bloody glow flashed from Zhu Fan and the Dao blood aura came out again. It flew high in the sky and vanished, but then wailing was heard from everywhere. Lionel asked, "What's that?" "Beast taming sect's higher-ups are dead, which leaves the disciples. Since you won't be able to handle them, I'll do it for you." Zhu Fan's eyes shone coldly. Lionel shuddered, realizing Zhu Fan was destroying the entire sect. The sixth prince was overjoyed, bowing at once in tears of gratitude. "Thanks you, Sir Zhu, for all you've done. Quanrong will never forget this." "Commander Tauba, are your aides gone?" Behind Quanrong's palace, the forlorn emperor sat on a rock as he sighed. Chuoba Taishan nodded heavily at the side. "Your Majesty, I'm aware of the gravity of this matter to take such measures, going as far as sending away the people I trusted for decades. Regardless, I still need to know just what is going on. Old Commander, there's no harm in telling you now that you're in this mess." Looking at the moon, the emperor took a deep breath and began, "Oh, the disgrace, the Quanrong's greatest humiliation. For so many years in this palace." Whoosh, his words got cut off as a figure came out of the dark cave, soon followed by 3 more. The emperor was startled and cried out, "Why you weren't found out?" The trio looked at each other and shook their heads. More like this big shot here was strutting inside out of fear of not being found out. Zhuo Fan scratched his head. Sixth Prince chuckled and bowed. "Imperial Father, they found us the second we got in and that led to a long fight." "Then why?" The emperor was in disbelief. "You were found out and fought, yet still got out. What's going on here?" Since when was the beast taming sect so weak? He had been waiting here for the beast taming sect to come for revenge, to kill him. Now he found out that none came, instead greeted by the people who should, by all accounts, be dead instead. Even the emperor found it hard to cope with such facts. Sixth Prince laughed. "Imperial Father, Sir Zhu's power is unmatched. He has gotten rid of all the bastards making the beast taming sect. All of them." The emperor and Chuoba Taishan blinked in shock. What? The sixth prince's eyes shone with joy. "Imperial Father, Sir Zhu has purged the world of the beast taming sect. We will no longer suffer at those bastards' hands." Shaking all over, the emperor and Chuoba Taishan stared at Zhu Fan like he grew a second head. "One guy destroyed a sect. Is that possible? Son, is this true?" The emperor was still in denial, but hope began to blossom. Lionel and the other 2 smiled. She took a step forward and bowed. "Your Majesty, sixth prince is correct. He was so ruthless as to remove all the disciples as well. Not one survived." Lionel complained, but her words sounded pleased, like Zhu Fan did her a favor. Giving Zhu Fan another long look, the emperor became grave. "Son, come here." The emperor grabbed him and threw himself at Zhu Fan's feet. "I'm but Ha Lichai, Quanrong Emperor. I am immensely grateful for saving Quanrong of this calamity. We shall never forget this." Chuoba Taishan and the rest were in shock at his display. "Your Majesty, you can't do this. You're the lord of our nation." "Some lord I am. Without Sir Zhu, I would have still been a figurehead even now." The emperor rose and showed a bitter smile. "Commander Tauba, didn't you want to know how hard it has been? It is the greatest shame and humiliation for Quanrong and the imperial family." The emperor looked at the sixth prince. "Son, you know as well, don't you? I know everything, even how my mother died." Desolate, the sixth prince sighed, looking at Zhuo Fan with gratitude. "Sir Zhu, all these years, Quanrong's palace had been nothing more than a place for the beast-taming sect's elders to vent their lust." "What?" Chuoba Liufeng cried out with the others. Only Zhuo Fan had guessed it and was calm. "Since the tunnel was located near the imperial harem, it has nothing to do with politics. Then there's that woman you killed in tunnel. She's the emperor's concubine." Eyes flashing with murder, sixth prince gnashed his teeth. In the entire Western lands, the guardian sects don't involve themselves in a nation's politics, except beast-taming sect. Being just 10 miles from the imperial capital, it held Quanrong in a tight grip. This was the usual practice in the past. Only later they went even further, cutting a tunnel to the imperial harem to indulge. The emperor nodded. This tunnel has been around for centuries, throwing the harem in chaos. Every emperor was aware of this, but none could expose beast-taming sex debauchery. All the girls of the palace would be taken in by force by those elders. Any that refused still would be dealt a savage blow. In face of such a situation, many women compromised, but some who were loyal, like the sixth prince's mother, chose death instead. They had come begging for help, only for them to turn a deaf ear and play the inept ruler. The emperor shook his head with teary eyes. Zhuo Fan clenched his fists in anger. The ruler of a nation couldn't even protect his women. It was a national disgrace. Commander Tauba's fury hadn't subsided as sixth prince continued, but then it got worse. These rotten bastards plotted against Quanrong's leadership. Many of Imperial Father's sons, including Crown Prince, aren't even his. What? Outraged, Zhuo Fan shook. Does that mean they wanted to affect the Imperial family's bloodline? The emperor was filled with hatred. Yes, with the backing in the shadows, they planned on taking control of Quanrong from me, especially that Crown Prince, appointed as the next emperor by the beast-taming sect leader himself. No matter how I saw it, he was his son. Humph, woe is me, the great emperor of Quanrong, reduced to passing the throne to someone other than my son. This is absurd. A secluded sect wants imperial power. What empire in Western lands would ever want to have them as support then? You have to report this to Double Dragon Manor at once. How can we bow down? Bam! Zhuo Fan punched a nearby rock to dust as he cursed. The emperor and sixth prince sighed. Commander Tauba, you're too naive. There's no such thing as good and evil in this world. Righteousness is nothing more than a rule to enslave mortals. Seeing their downcast looks, Zhuo Fan was startled. Zhuo Fan nodded. Commander Tauba, if the emperor had told Double Dragon Manor, would they purge beast-taming sect? Zhuo Fan asked Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan paused, then shook his head. The 9 sects of Western lands are its main power. Taking one out meant crippling themselves. Double Dragon Manor would never do this. Exactly. As long as beast-taming sect exists, a few years later this news would die down. But would you, a third-rate nation, was able to bear their revenge? Zhuo Fan turned grave and sighed. Zhuo Fan laughed at the sky. I can now understand somewhat the feeling Danking Shen had when he stomped on the 9 sects. Western lands is nothing more than a tranquil hell. Order and righteousness are nothing more than filthy excuses. There are some things only demonic cultivators can do. Evil begets more evil, ha ha ha. Sixth Prince, this is what you had in mind when you took me to Crown Prince and then the Imperial Palace. Zhuo Fan laughed, eyeing him. Though I've been searching all the time, even without clues, I'm still willing to bet you'd take me here. Also, I would clash with the beast-taming sect. I would never. The sixth prince rushed to bow. I know Sir Zhuo's style more than anyone, hating being used. I never ever dreamed of using you either, no matter how much I wanted to when we met. Seeing Sir's display at Double Dragon Gathering, I knew your character and that you wouldn't stand for these hypocritical bastards. All I entertained was a thread of hope that Sir would help free Quanrong of their suffering. I would have been happy even if I only helped Sir to find what you sought. You must believe me that I'm just a fanboy. Looking him dead in the eyes, Zhuo Fan nodded. I know. I've been testing you all the way here. Even when you were excited, you still didn't try to shift my decisions. This was good enough. The sixth prince's eyes lit up and beamed. Zhuo Fan chuckled, turning to leave. Well then, it's time for me to leave. Take care. You're just going to leave? Lionel cried out. The sixth prince was also taken aback. Hold on, sir. After destroying the beast-taming sect, you'll have a hard time moving through Western lands. It's fine. Western lands has no way of restricting a dead man. Zhuo Fan spoke. Moreover, after paying them a visit, I will leave Western lands for good. Why you're even leaving the Western lands? Where will you go? Lionel looked with deep longing, hearing that he would be gone to who knows where. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Anywhere I can in this vast world, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan jumped and flew away, out of sight. Sixth Prince jumped to his feet and shouted, Sir Zhuo, I'm your fan, won't you learn my name? Say it. A faint voice came from the night sky. Zhuo, ha ha ha, you have my family name, I'll remember that. That's not it. My entire name is Hulul Sharushiasti Zhuo. You can't forget it. A pensive silence fell over the world before an irate voice snapped, The hell I will, the others smiled. Sir Zhuo is such a blunt guy. Only Lionel sighed in desolation. Commander Tauba, Zhuo Fan looked back to see the emperor looking at him with a stone-cold face. Commander Tauba, you are henceforth reinstated as the head of the Quanrong army, its commander. Gather all the city guards and sweep the imperial capital clean of anyone related to the beast-taming sect, including those concubines. The empress, the princess, all of them are to be put down. Don't let any of them escape. Even with Sir Zhu destroying all of the beast-taming sect, there are still many of them waging war at the border with Tianyu. Do this without letting any of them catch wind of this and come back for revenge. Chuo Taishan shook and ventured, Your Majesty, all of them. There's just too many people, every single one, the emperor spoke with an edge to his tone. I've had enough of these bastards over the past years. It's time for their penance. No one shall steal Quanrong from me, ha ha ha. The Taoba brothers glanced at the crazed emperor in fear. He was meek before beast-taming sect, he was miserable before Zhuo Fan, but now, His Majesty got hold of his power and his actions were swift and cruel in getting rid of any vestige the beast-taming sect had on this earth. By comparison, Zhuo Fan was blunt and determined, although seeing himself as the bad guy. Lioner looked at the sky with longing. Chuo Taishan bowed and carried out his order. Zhuo Fan was somewhat far from here, but he still heard the man clearly having entered the ethereal stage. Humans, they need but a thought to become saints or demons. No one is better than the next. They all turned demonic once they grasped power. This was the way the world worked. The nobles oppressed the people, who had the emperors oppressing them, who had the sects breathing down their necks, with finally the very top experts coming down on the sects. As for those experts, they were at their turn at the whims of the world's laws, unable to break from them. One must constantly improve, grow stronger and stronger if they hope to shed their shackles, even above the entire world. Zhuo Fan had gleaned into the way the 10 ancient sovereigns were thinking. They did not want to be under anyone either. Smirking, Zhuo Fan flashed out of there. 3 months later, in an open field of sand, military tents were arranged in perfect order, with no end in sight. In their center lay the biggest tent, the one that also released the strongest aura. The war has been going for 6 months now without bearing any result. We've lost scores of good men and sent out a jade slip for aid, but help is late to arrive. We can no longer fight. An old man with a twirled beard looked at his men with a sigh. The others sighed as well. In the previous wars, as long as Quanrong's warriors fought, we'd still make some headway since the strongest in these wars would be in the radiant stage and the common people could still handle. But with Tianyu growing so fast, they just sent ethereal stage experts on the battlefield, forcing us to send our own to withstand the pressure. But this is no war. It's now been reduced to showing off one's power. It's more apt to call it a war between sects than nations. Who said it isn't? Do any of you think Tianyu's 3 guardian sects didn't send anyone, that they're all Tianyu's men? One elder spoke. The others shook their heads. Ever since the Luo alliance formed in Tianyu, its power grew close to that of a sect. They may as well be a 10th sect in Western lands in the future. Yeah, Tianyu is just too strong for a mere empire. All the officials here nodded their heads as they discussed among themselves. A shout came from beyond the tent. Imperial Capital's jade slip has arrived. The Imperial Capital's response is here. Did reinforcements come? Perking up, the top elder laughed as he hurriedly said, Give me the jade slip. Yes, sir. A soldier bowed and walked in to give the jade slip. The elder snatched it in joy, but then froze. The others were curious. Old man, what's up? What does it say? Did the sect leader send curses for being useless and that no men are coming? If only. The elder's shoulders shook, putting on the most heart-wrenching expression he could. It's Quanrong Emperor's jade slip. He said that 3 months ago, some power infiltrated the nation and wreaked havoc in the imperial capital. To make it worse, it destroyed the beast-taming sect. We're homeless. What? Everyone looked stumped. While they were fighting here with their lives on the line, their home was getting pillaged. What the hell? It must be Tianyu. They must have sent someone to attack our backs. I'm going to kill them. Is it really them, though? The sect is stronger than just the few we have here, and it has a defensive array as well. Tianyu would have long since killed us if it could destroy our sect. What kind of an idiot would drag this useless war on instead? Oh right, true. Everyone pondered, but the same guy just wouldn't give up. Then who else could destroy our sect? Demon Scheming Sect. Another man shouted, think about it. Demon Scheming Sect is guarding Tianyu, yet suddenly gives us 1,000 sacred stones to attack it. This is clearly a trap. We never saw through their intentions, but now we know. It's cutting off our escape. Blast it. I'll kill them all. Someone jumped to his feet, about to march to Demon Scheming Sect. Another one cursed, cut the crap, with the sect gone, we alone are nothing. Are you suicidal to get revenge like this? What else are we supposed to do? Go to Double Dragon Manor. We'll have them take revenge for us. The Exalted will settle it. The others nodded, having met consensus. So the Quanrong's army withdrew. Across from Quanrong's camp, Luo Yunhai and Elder Li were discussing their plans when a report came. Marshal, Quanrong is retreating. They're all leaving. They're leaving? Luo Yunhai looked at him with a dumb look. Why? Just yesterday, they pushed hard at us with their spiritual beast army. We only managed to hold thanks to the sacred stone array, but that still didn't give us any advantage. Why the sudden withdrawal? Lang Wucheng spoke. Maybe the cost was too much. Since nothing worked, they wasted too many resources and men, or maybe something happened back home to their leaders. Ling Wucheng's eyes flashed, guard, scout Quanrong at once. Just what happened? Yes, sir. A man bowed and left swiftly. Luo Yunhai sighed, much relaxed now. This war took 6 months, but it's finally over. Demon scheming sect wanted to wear down our will to fight, but now that the enemy withdrew their troops, everything is ruined. It's like Brother Zhu is watching us from beyond. Clan head, you shouldn't give Steward Zhu's spirit all the credit. Ling Wucheng scratched his head. Eyeing him, Luo Yunhai said, Sister said that one should respect immortals. We also should respect the Luo clan's ancestor and Brother Zhu just the same. That's just superstition. If Steward Zhu is up there somewhere, he should just get rid of the demon scheming sect and do us a solid. Don't you agree, clan head? Ling Wucheng glanced at Ling Wucheng, then shook his head. Sir Ling, ha ha ha. Before a magnificent and lush forest stood a man. He was all black, including his hair and those deep black eyes. The biting wind traced his face. Zhuo Fan was at the entrance of the demon scheming sect. His mind made on leaving Western lands. Now that he set up the array, he still felt like paying his old friends one last visit. The first on the list was his esteemed master, who said a demonic cultivator didn't value his master. He might just be the only one he'd bid farewell in person. Regarding Luo Yunhai and the rest, he'd settle for watching them from afar before leaving. He made a sign, and despite all the warping space, it just settled down soon after. Did the method to open it change? Frowning, Zhuo Fan muttered, while that may be when there's a traitor among the sect, to stop them from returning, by all accounts, they should think I'm dead. Does this mean this was set by another? Zhuo Fan was pensive, then shook his head. Whatever, after saying goodbye to Elder Yuan, none of it would matter. You might have closed the door, but I have another way in. Zhuo Fan made a different gesture. It was something Elder Yuan taught him when he became the new sect leader. Only he could use it. As long as the sect's defensive array didn't change, this method would remain. With how utterly expensive and time-consuming it was to change it completely, no sane sect would ever do that. Zhuo Fan had no trouble opening it this time, seeing as how a path opened up. Grinning, Zhuo Fan walked right in. He could have used the black flame too, but he went for subtlety this time around. Zhuo Fan moved from hiding to hiding, searching the demon scheming sect for Elder Yuan, yet there was no sign of him even in High Venerable's secluded room. What baffled him was that the demon scheming sect was no longer as lively as before. There was not one familiar face in sight, no venerable Bai, no laborer. Frowning, Zhuo Fan's heart sank with unease. After Yilin brought him to Ultimate Clarity Sect, he was stuck in the infernal gorge with the dragon ancestor. Yilin had told him of the outside state, but the demon scheming sect wasn't included in the news. Now that he was here, something was off about this place. Did you hear? The beast taming sect withdrew from the battle without so much as a word. Those damn fools in Tianyu have gotten away again. Didn't we give those bastards 1,000 sacred stones already? They even said they'd root out the clan from Tianyu, so why are they suddenly backing down? I just knew we couldn't trust those fools who only know to hang around beasts. Sect leader Zai and Venerable Shi are going to be pissed. Isn't he already? I just heard sect leaders roar coming from the main hall. Well, he did spend 1,000 sacred stones. You think we'd have asked them if we couldn't do it ourselves? To avoid a repeat of last time, with Heaven trailing sect messing it all up, sect leader gave those guys plenty of stuff. At this rate, all the winnings Zhuo Fan got us will soon be used up. What? Just how many is it this time? 2 people were grumbling while passing by Zhuo Fan's hiding place. They were inner sect elders. Squinting, Zhuo Fan checked his surroundings and then shot for the 2. Whoosh, they had no chance when the shadow descended upon them, clutching their throats and sealing their yuan qi before leaving the place. They looked around confused when they suddenly slumped on the ground, only to find themselves on the mountain behind the sect. The 2 cried out, "Who dares attack the demon scheming sect? We're its elders, I know." Walking closer, the sunlight shone over Zhuo Fan. "Why else do you think I grabbed you? Remember me?" The 2's eyes got used to the glaring sun and were then rooted in shock. Zhuo Fan. "Aren't you dead? Ha ha ha, I figured as much. You did have something to do with those bastards from Universal Righteous Sect." Zhuo Fan shook his head. "But I'm from the demon scheming sect and the sect leader at that. As long as you're not behind it, I am willing to let the elders of my sect go, ha ha ha." Shaking all over, the 2 bobbed their heads, pleading, "Sect leader Zhuo, this had nothing to do with us. It's all Venerable Shi and Zai Yu's plot." I know. Zhuo Fan waved them off in annoyance. "I don't care about that. What I want to know." Zhuo Fan's eyes hardened. "Where is High Venerable and Venerable Bai with the rest? Where are the laborers?" The 2 shivered, lowering their heads. Zhuo Fan's heart sank, putting on a savage smile. "I see, since you don't see me as a sect leader, then you're no elders to me. I should get rid of traitors like you." Zhuo Fan raised his hand, gushing black smoke. "Wait, please, sect leader Zhuo. We've always seen you as our sect leader." The 2 panicked. "Then why don't you answer?" Are you defying my orders? Zhuo Fan's aura exploded with bloodthirst, making the two elders feel chilled to the bone. The two bowed once again and begged, "Sect leader Zhuo, please, we won't hide anything from you. Please spare us, sect leader." The two then spilled everything that had happened. Zhuo Fan's brow shook, hatred building in his eyes. He thought the universal righteous sect attack was only to deal with him, but that piece of garbage Zhuo even struck High Venerable before removing any that was tied with him in the sect. As far as going after the Luo clan who rescued the stragglers, using beast-taming sect to do it. Sect leader Zhuo, it's all Venerable Shi and Zhuo's fault. We didn't do anything, we just followed orders. The two begged in tears. Zhuo Fan clenched his fists with bloodshot eyes. The most respected elder in the mortal domain, the only one who he took as his master, was now dead before he could even say goodbye. Curse you, Zhuo Fan's eyes were filled with bloodthirst. He flicked his hand and had the two wrapped in black smoke. The two shouted, "Sect leader Zhuo, spare us, we'll remove the traitors with you, please let us go. We're also elders of the demon scheming sect. As a sect leader, you have to let us live. Screw being a sect leader." Zhuo Fan cursed. "I became sect leader only because Elder Yuan asked. Now that he's gone, I'd be a moron to become one for you fools. You really think I'd let you live after killing my people with Zhuo? Demon transformation art." The two howled as the black smoke enveloped them. Their pain and grief was laid bare until the very end. Once the black smoke scattered, dust fell in the wind. Zhuo Fan flicked his hand. He was out for blood, his bloodthirst increasing as he marched for the main hall. "God damn it, damn that beast-taming sect, taking my money yet it won't do its part." Bam, Zhuo pulverized a mahogany table to dust in a fit of rage. His eyes were burning with hatred. Venerable She sat nearby with a frown. He sighed, "This is odd indeed. A sect wouldn't back out of their deal just like that. What could have led to this? Nothing, that's what. A bunch of savages got scared after hitting a snag." Zhuo snapped, "What's worse is that they ran with our damn sacred stones. Curse them all, then bribing heaven-trailing sect is also costly. There's almost nothing left of the winnings from the double dragon gathering." Venerable She shook his head. "Ha ha ha, can't bear to see them go. You shouldn't have taken the seat back then. That way the demon scheming sect would have surely flourished." Venerable She, "What's your point?" Zhuo squinted with malice. Venerable She lazily put one leg over the other while shaking his head. "Isn't it obvious? All inner conflicts are sources of heavy loss at core, with no fruits when overcome. Funny thing is people never get tired of doing it. And why, you ask, just so they can sit their ass in the biggest chair. Ha ha ha, that's what happened to Tianyu's emperor, and the same goes for you. If the Luo clan didn't rise and stop the emperor's scheme, Tianyu would have lost a tenth of their lands and would have weakened greatly. Now though, Tianyu still has the Yuan clan at the helm. As for us, if we hadn't gone after Zhuo Fan so hard, we'd still have the 10,000 sacred stones to grow the sect. With Zhuo Fan, the sect leader, sent to Double Dragon Manor, the future was bound to have us as middle three sect at the very least. But rather than enjoy such a great future, it was much better to have your ass stuck to that chair. Ha ha ha, you win some, you lose some. The sect is in a dump, but we have our sect leader and I'm still the first venerable. Zhuo gnashed his teeth. Are you saying that all of this is my fault? That Zhuo Fan was a better sect leader than me? That's not it at all, I'm only stating facts. Venerable She squinted. Besides, what's the point of a strong demon scheming sect if I don't have my seat? Ha ha ha, I'm only urging sect leader to ease up and stop minding the lost sacred stones. What matters is that we're still the leaders here. Zhuo faltered, then sighed. Yeah, Venerable She is right. As long as we are here, winning or losing doesn't matter. Everything is ours, not someone else's. Venerable She nodded, pleased, but discontent still flashed in his eyes. Zhuo, what a shame for High Venerable, so astute and sharp, working for the betterment of the sect, only to have such dumb disciple. Greed has taken root in your heart, turning you into my puppet. Having a sect leader as my pawn ain't that bad, ha ha ha. Grinning, Venerable She stayed silent. Ha ha ha, what a shameless disciple, being proud of running the sect into the ground. Elder Yuan's toil for 1,000 years was ruined in a blink by bastards like you. His spirit above wouldn't know rest watching you. Startled at the sudden cold shout, the two jerked in panic. Who's there? You dare toy with the demon scheming sect. Come out now. Toy, ha ha ha, this is no game though. Zhuo Fan came out from a shadowy corner with a mocking smile. Zhuo and Venerable She were shell-shocked. Why, you're supposed to be dead. Of course you'd want me dead. Zhuo Fan's eyes were cold, but I'm still alive. Who else would take revenge for Elder Yuan? As his disciple, it's my duty to clean up the dregs and the rats. Zhuo recoiled but then steeled his heart. You want to kill us? Humph, you who hasn't even entered the ethereal stage in 10 years here. Whoosh, a golden light shone and Zhuo Fan flashed in their faces. The aura made them choke on their words. So fast, to be honest, I just entered it. With an evil smirk, Zhuo Fan punched at Zai Weiyu. SSS, the almighty power of his fist made it hard to breathe before it even landed. It forced the two to stagger back, right as the punch passed by. Whoosh, the scorching gale reached his face, burning him, while the mighty strike hit a wall, blowing a huge hole in it. The force then shot into the sky, making it quiver, punching a gap in it. Zai Weiyu was overwhelmed, stumbling backward as he was covered in sweat. When he finally stood straight, the punch had ripped his robe on his chest open. Zai Weiyu was even more shocked, watching Zhuo Fan in fear. It was his first time really fighting Zhuo Fan, but as it happened, Zhuo Fan was at his strongest. Zhuo Fan had been in the profound heaven stage when he got to Demon's scheming sect, and even when he entered Radiant stage and formed his dragon soul, he still was no match. Now though in the ethereal stage with two souls, dragon ancestors refining and killing arm, Zhuo Fan was in perfect form. Not even a soul harmony expert could survive a clash with him, let alone peak ethereal stage Zai Weiyu. Zai Weiyu staggered backward 2 steps. Venerable she did the same, coming next to Zai Weiyu. Zhuo Fan was beyond strong, even forcing Zai Weiyu back with one casual punch. Zhuo Fan did not care what they did since they couldn't stop him. He only had a devious smile on his face. That punch was a miss on purpose. Zai Weiyu, weren't you always in denial about me? Weren't you always questioning why Elder Yuan chose me to be sect leader? I'll let my strength do the talking. You and I are worlds apart. You're not fit to be a sect leader, not even worthy to lick my shoes. Zhuo Fan. Shuddering, Zai Weiyu found Zhuo Fan's taunt insufferable. His biggest regret had been when his master accepted someone else over him. He wanted to prove to himself that he was better than Zhuo Fan, that his master was wrong. But with Zhuo Fan before him and taunting, he found himself lacking the nerve to fight. That punch alone told him Zhuo Fan was terrifying. Venerable, she glanced at Zai Weiyu, sect leader, we can't fight him. I'm going to get help while you stall him. Venerable, she trembled as he went for the door and fled. Zai Weiyu didn't react the whole time, only looking at Zhuo Fan in panic. It was either fight or flight, but he was struggling to make a decision. He did want to fight to prove himself, but instinct told him fleeing was healthier. Zhuo Fan ignored Venerable Shi. We're both Elder Yuan's disciples. His spirit is watching us from above. Zai Weiyu, today we'll see if Master was right or not. If you win, you are the one in the right. If I win, I absolve Master. Zai Weiyu's fists clenched, a fire burning in his eyes. Master, watch me, I'll prove to you I'm right. Zhuo Fan is no match for me. We'll let facts speak for themselves. Snickering, Zhuo Fan looked at the sky with a soft gaze. Elder Yuan, I and Zai Weiyu will be fighting. It is a fight between disciples, but also for you. Judge for yourself, Master. Whoosh, Zai Weiyu's hand went through gestures with bloodshot eyes. He was in a crazed state, obsessed with beating his enemy just to prove himself right, that he was the best sect leader the demon scheming sect could ever have, that his master was wrong all along. By contrast, Zhuo Fan was standing there, waiting for him to finish without even paying him any attention. It was complete disregard. Zai Weiyu, as he was now, was nothing more than a bug to him. The condescending look only worked to drive Zai Weiyu's rage to new heights. Finally done with wiggling his fingers around, a deep roaring came from the sharp winds exploding into existence. The flood dragons wound around each other before shooting for Zhuo Fan with their claws and maws ready to maul him. Quasi Earth-ranked martial art, dragon-crushing flood, boom. The 3 flood dragons slammed into the dull Zhuo Fan, enveloping into a tricolored tornado that covered the entire main hall. The storm was so savage that it pulverized the main hall's ceiling as it touched it. Anything that got near it would be turned to dust. Zai Weiyu panted, then snickered, ha ha ha, against my Quasi Earth-ranked martial art, not even a soul harmony expert could come out alive. Especially not you who didn't even defend, overconfident in your strength. You're suicidal taking it on like that. One more reason you're unfit to be a sect leader. Bam, his gloating was cut short as the tricolored storm vanished. Zhuo Fan eased down his hand, standing there like it hardly was worth the effort. Going by that skill alone, nothing you do can harm me. I have an unbreakable body, not something a dog's bite can even scratch. Brushing the dust off his shoulder, Zhuo Fan's clothes were broken in places, revealing his perfect and unmarred build. His skin even had a golden hue to it. It was obvious Zhuo Fan didn't use Yuan Qi to shield himself from the storm, evident by his shabby clothes. This only made it even more scary, proving he really had one obscenely tough body that not even a peak ethereal stage expert's Quasi-Earth-ranked martial art could break. This outrageous fact had never appeared in the entire world, least of all the Western lands. Abomination. Zai Weiyu was still in denial, but more so helpless. That was his strongest skill, but Zhuo Fan just shrugged it off. Next was a battle of souls. Zai Weiyu's eyes shook, and a flood dragon came from his body in a gray light. tear the sky, flood dragon claw, roar. The flood dragon bared its claws at Zhuo Fan's chest. Humph, I know you have the heaven dragon soul, but you only formed it 5 years ago. My soul has. Bam. Zai Yu's eyes had a savage glint as he raved, only to see his flood dragon getting smacked away before even reaching Zhuo Fan. Zai Yu shook and spat blood. Looking ahead, he saw a scarlet dragon claw in front of Zhuo Fan. With a look of scorn, Zhuo Fan said, "When it comes to souls, power isn't determined by just time. Strong is strong and weak is weak. My dragon's soul needn't even come out to finish off your flood dragon. Zai Yu, you are nothing to me." Zhuo Fan, roaring at the top of his lungs, Zai Yu had lost his mind, throwing himself at Zhuo Fan. His hand flashed and revealed a bloody spear in the 10th grade. "Your body can be invincible for all I care, but you still can't defeat me." Bam! The spear was smashed in his very hands and turned into red motes as they flew away. Startled, Zai Yu was in disbelief. How did a 10th grade spiritual weapon just break? Looking forward again, he saw Zhuo Fan holding a pitch-black longsword. Zhuo Fan's gaze was still, devoid of any feelings. "I'm also a refiner. 10th grade items are nothing." Shaking all over, Zai Yu's mind was having a meltdown, utter defeat. He was outclassed in every way imaginable, from skills and soul to equipment. He had no chance in hell of winning now. His futile attempt at proving himself better only backfired, with Zhuo Fan coming with strong responses beyond anything he could ever do. The feeling of failure closed in on him, squeezing his chest and making him shiver. It wasn't born out of fear, but out of helplessness. Just why did I lose? Zhuo Fan hid the demonic sword, his eyes stone cold. His lofty position akin to an emperor looking down at a beggar. "Zhuo Fan, I cannot lose to you." A shrill cry came from Zai Yu as he shot forth to strike again, clawing Zhuo Fan's head. "Zai Yu," Zhuo Fan spoke in a low and dark tone, "I didn't strike you out for master to show he made no mistake. Now it's time to wipe away the shame you brought." Whoosh, his dead expression turned savage in a flash, twisted with rage. The ruthless aura spread around, decimating anything in its path. Zai Yu's claws were halted and he was filled with shock. Zhuo Fan's brutal killing arm took the moment to grab his head and slammed him head first into the pavement in the middle of shouting. The main hall crumbled then and there, down in a deep crater. Zhuo Fan was far from finished, however, dragging Zai Yu around on the ground for 1,000 miles. "Zai Yu, I have brought the 10,000 sacred stones to the sect on my own merit. Now I am using my power to drag you around like a rag doll. I had also gathered the respect of most of the sect. You lack in merit, a mere paper tiger in strength, and are utterly useless when it comes to leading. So why can't you just accept it instead of insisting on fighting me for a seat?" As well as, Zhuo Fan held Zai Yu's hand into the dirt, speaking with red eyes and a ruthless tone. There were even some tears mixed in as well as he roared, "Going as far as killing your own master. I'd have failed master's spirit watching us if I don't rip you limb from limb." Rumble. Zhuo Fan snatched Zai Yu out of the dirt and flung him into the air. Zai Yu was looking mangled, his face beyond recognition and barely any teeth left. Alas, the glow around his body protected him from taking his meager life. Zhuo Fan looked up, noticing the glow as well, coming from the 10th grade spiritual armor he gave Zai Yu before. "Sect leader, we came to help." Venerable, she was back with reinforcements, all the elders and venerables in the sect to surround Zhuo Fan. Zai Yu showed a crazed smile, feeble as he was. "Zhuo Fan, you came very close to killing me, but too bad you can't now. This is all thanks to the spiritual armor you gave me. Ha ha ha, what a shame. With the other ethereal stage experts here, you have no chance at all. Providence is by my side all the way. I'll live while you'll die. The demon scheming sect will be mine still, ha ha ha. Moron, there's no way a spiritual armor I made would protect someone who killed their own master." Zhuo Fan's left eye flashed with the black thunderflame. Zai Yu's spiritual armor exploded then and there in a gush of black thunderflame, searing his body. What the hell is this? The armor? Zhuo Fan's cruel smile said it all. He never trusted Zai Yu ever. So he laid a few tricks just in case. When they were still on friendly terms, he thought it best to place a spatial array inside the spiritual armor that connected to his divine eye of the void. Thanks to that neat trick, Zhuo Fan could use the power of void annihilation through the spiritual armor Zai Yu was wearing and take his life. But since he had something much better, like the thunderflame, it was a shame not to use it. Zai Yu's squeals of pain soon died out, his figure burned wholly by the black thunderflame until there was nothing left. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath, looking at the sky. "Master, I've wiped away the shame." Yu's howls of agony inside the black thunderflame died out along with the signature of his soul. All that remained was the violent black thunderflame flickering in his place one last time before fading out as well. Demon scheming sect's elders were panicking. Zai Yu's very existence had been erased from this world. They slowly turned to the still figure beneath and gulped in horror. It only took 15 minutes for Venerable Shi to gather the elders and come here, just 15 minutes. It proved to be more than enough time for their sect leader, a peak ethereal stage expert, to die like nothing. What did that say about Zhuo Fan's power? Just how strong was he? Seeing Zai Weiyu's cruel demise, everyone's heart was in their throat, looking at Zhuo Fan in fear. Ignoring their fear mixed with hatred and anger, Zhuo Fan just walked away with a stone-cold face. The ones surrounding him broke out in cold sweat and stepped back in fear each time he advanced. Fear had taken root in their hearts, robbing them of any will to fight. Venerable Shi looked around with gnashed teeth and shouted, "Don't let him escape. As long as he's alive, everything will unravel. Double Dragon Manor will side with him and ruin us. He has to die now for the demon scheming sect to be ours." Shuddering, the elders halted, looking grave and finally releasing their bloodthirst. Zhuo Fan stopped as well, glancing at Venerable Shi. "Humph, no matter how strong, he's all alone. Together we'll crush him to pieces." Seeing his speech worked, Venerable Shi lifted their morale. "Letting him go will make him join Tianyu's traitors. That will be the moment we'll lose everything, even our lives. We can't let that happen. We must end him here and now." Roar. The old weasel sure knew how to use people, inciting them to fight. The fearful elders in front roared to mask their dread, releasing their souls and sending them to attack Zhuo Fan. The air felt heavy as the horde of souls unleashed their power at Zhuo Fan, making the earth he stood on sink 100 meters. The immense might brushed his cheek and fluttered his black hair. But not even this grand display of raw force from demon scheming sect's best was enough to move Zhuo Fan. In fact, he had on a mocking smile. Looking around at the souls coming for his life, Zhuo Fan sneered. "I see, so there aren't even 100 ethereal stage experts left. Ha ha ha, and you wish to kill me now that the sect is so weak. Aren't you a bit naive? Humph, we may be weaker, but united. 100 ethereal stage experts are enough to kill a prick like you." Whoosh. Venerable Shi grinned, his words cut off by a shadow covering the sky and everyone around. Their bodies and souls had black creeping over them, halting them in place. Everything turned eerily quiet. The elders were overwhelmed. "What is this?" Venerable Shi was the most shocked of all. Zhuo Fan's flat voice pierced their ears. "What a pity, Elder Yuan had toiled for this sect, yet you fools snatched it. I'm sure his spirit wouldn't want to see this. As his disciples, I should do my part in wiping away the disgrace." The endless shadow opened its maw like a deep abyss as something dragged them down to hell. The fear they felt was out of this world. What the hell is this?" Venerable Bai shouted, switching to begging. "Zhuo Fan, you can't kill us or the demon scheming sect is finished. The sect is High Venerable's pride and joy. I know you care and respect him, and as his disciple, you wouldn't want to see High Venerable's efforts go to waste. Let's make up, putting you as sect leader. We'll listen to anything you say. Venerable Bai and the others can come back. We'll hand over power and become laborers as penance. Yeah, we'll do anything as long as you spare us. Sect leader Zhuo, please let us go. We're from the same sect, we should help each other." Everyone turned to pleading now that he had them in his tight grip. Zhuo Fan paid their coin no heed. "So now you appeal to my humanity for being from the same sect, ha ha ha. What about the elders and labor office's disciples? Did you think about them the same?" "Humph, that's rich, using High Venerable as an excuse when it suits you. Venerable Shi, I've never seen such a crass and revolting act, going as low as using the same person you had killed." Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. "I'll say this. I do see High Venerable as my master, but never demon scheming sect as my home. It's nothing but bullshit. High Venerable would have fallen for it and spared you, and I would listen to him. Too bad you killed High Venerable, and I ain't as soft as him for the sect. There's no home without kin. Elder Yuan is gone from the demon scheming sect, and that broke any ties I had with this sect. Venerable Shi, I wonder if you'd spared High Venerable if you knew this day would come." Shuddering, Venerable Shi had no response. "Ha ha ha, Venerable Shi, this is called a deadly sin brought on by yourself. You're to blame for your own death." Zhuo Fan flicked his hand and the blackness flooded the space. Wails were heard as it swallowed everyone. Demon transformation art, Pa, the black domain faded away and Zhuo Fan stood alone. His face never changed, still walking out of the sect. The demonic sword flew out of him, whistling through the demon scheming sect's grounds as it painted the skies with the agony of its disciples. Zhuo Fan's step never faltered, his smile sad. "Elder Yuan, I told you I only cared about you in this sect." A month later, in the Luo clan's hall on top of Blackwind Mountain, Luo Yunhai sat in his main seat with elders on either side of him, each frowning and grave. "Clan head, I don't know why beast taming sect withdrew, but demon scheming sect must have had something to do with it for sure. And with heaven trailing sect giving the cold shoulder, it seems they'll become our enemies at some point. We must be on constant guard around these three sects." Venerable Bai spoke. Everyone around agreed. Fiend Yang shook his head. "It's all our fault for bringing this disaster." "Venerable Yang, you mustn't say that. Brother Zhu had approached us in person, and that makes us brothers. How can I just let you suffer? Luo Yunhai sighed. We need to send more scouts to the demon scheming sect just in case. They all nodded. Rush steps approached, with Leng Wucheng bursting in with a jade slip. He bowed. Clan head, we know why beast taming sect withdrew. The scouts report that 6 months ago some strange power invaded the Quanrong imperial capital, stamping beast taming sect out and causing chaos in the city. Many princes died as well as other minor nobles. With their roots cut out, of course they'd withdraw, ha ha ha. That really happened. There were gaps of shock around. The more affected were the group from Demon Scheming Sect. No matter how antagonistic the 9 sects in Western lands, none would go as far as total annihilation. Not even Danking Shen went so far that time. There's no way the force that did it was from Western lands. Who cares? It did us a solid ha ha ha, Leng Wucheng laughed. Luo Yunhai nodded. Yes, if any reinforcements came, we wouldn't have lasted much longer. Regardless of where this power came from, it was God sent Brother Zhu's blessing. Clan head, you're giving Steward Zhu's spirit all the credit again. If Steward Zhu's spirit had acted, he'd go pay his debt. And kill Zai Yu, right? Leng Wucheng smiled with a sigh. Sir Leng, I'm not superstitious here and was only thinking. Brother Zhu is a miracle worker, so much so that anything utterly baffling that is happening makes me think Brother Zhu was behind it, that his spirit is watching over us. Luo Yunhai's passionate look touched the others. Report, a scout in black rushed into the hall, presenting a jade slip. Demon Scheming Sect scouts say that somehow the Demon Scheming Sect was gone overnight. What? There was a collective gasp in shock. Leng Wucheng shook, stunned for a good while. Hell, Steward Zhu's spirit appeared for real. With barely a sound to announce their arrival, many tense figures filled a small path. They weren't the only ones, as on all the hills around were rows upon rows of people. In front of the path was a man in black, with black hair and black eyes. His gaze chilled everyone to the bone despite the sun shining above. Who the hell are you to break mystical heaven sect's barrier? One disciple in white shouted. The man in black simply walked on with an eerie vibe around him. The disciples shook, feeling sweat trailing down their brow, yet none made a move. They knew this man was in the ethereal stage. Only elders could face such power. Heed me well, stranger, stop right there. This isn't the outside world where an ethereal stage expert can just walk wherever. This is the mystical heaven sect with many peak elders and venerables. You have no business stirring up things here. Another one barked at the man in black, not that he gave a damn, still walking on. The disciples were getting tense, feeling something bad would happen. Whoosh, the disciple in front, looked over at the sound and was overjoyed to see the sect leader and the venerables here. The power of 7th, 8th, and 9th layer ethereal stage flooded the area, giving the disciples confidence and safety. Even below ethereal stage as they were, they could tell the man in black was only in the 1st layer. With the best of the sect arriving, they could squash the interloper with their thumb. This fact filled them with confidence. The first disciple even grew smug. Ha ha ha, I told you to leave while you can. Now that sect leader is here, you have no chance. There'll be no mercy for anyone who steps into our sect like people. I was kind enough to spare you last time, but now look at you, all lively and forgetful of past misfortune. You're even yapping at me, ha ha ha. The man walked on uncaringly. Sect leader cupped his hands. Sir, who are you? Which sect has come to mystical heaven sect? Sect leader was no fool like those disciples. Being on his seat for centuries, he knew how to act. Who cared if this guy was in the 1st layer? Did you know who had his back or how strong they were? What kind of guy just waltzed in through a sect's array set up with sacred stones? He had to be someone to do that. It was common knowledge that such a man was representing the force behind him when he acted. The floundering, ignorant people would only earn a quick death at his hands. Only the sect-grown disciples like mystical heaven sect would act like this too. The elders, however, knew more about the world. That cultivation wasn't everything. This gap in knowledge left the disciples stumped as to why sect leader showed such courtesy. He's just in the 1st layer ethereal stage, sect leader. Why waste words with him? Are you scared? Sect leader glared at them, then sighed and sighed. These brats can only show off here in the sect. Once they go out, they'll be sure to step on someone's toes and die without even knowing how. Ha ha ha, sect leader Xuan, it's been a while. The man in black stopped in front of him, revealing a familiar face. Did you forget me already? Sect leader Zhuo narrowed his eyes, cupping his hands once he snapped out of it with gnashed teeth. Zhuo Fan, you're still alive. Brat, fortune must smile upon me to come back from so many brushes with death. Zhuo Fan smirked. You must know why I'm here, right? Sect leader Zhuo spat. Why, it's to take revenge. Isn't it? Right you are, Zhuo Fan spoke. Sect leader Zhuo's laughter was filled with sorrow. Ha ha ha, you dare talk to me about vengeance. You took the life of my son. Yep, I killed him. Zhuo Fan said, a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I won't deny it. You have all the right to attack me. However, Zhuo Fan's eyes shone coldly, filled with bloodthirst. You should have turned down Zai Weiyu instead of taking revenge on someone else. Demon Scheming Sect's High Venerable is my revered master in Tao. I didn't plan on nitpicking over this matter, but the killing of my master. Ha ha ha, so now you know the pain of loss? Sect leader Xuan cackled. I see, the old coot mattered to you. If I knew, I'd have his corpse thrashed after heaven trailing sword killed him. A son's mistake is a father's fault. A disciple's fall is a master's shortcoming. I should have taken all the rage I had for you on that old coots. Zhuo Fan's brow shook, gnashing his teeth. Say that again. I'll say it 100 times if I want to. I'll thrash his body, maul it, butcher it. You came just in time. Once I kill you, I'll go to the Demon Scheming Sect and take that old fool's head so you two would enjoy being mutilated together to quell my hatred. Zhuo Fan's face fell, showing a cruel smile. I was going to go easy on King Cheng's master and fellow disciples, only coming to deal with you. But now Mystical Heaven Sect has no place in this world. You want to destroy us? Sect leader Xuan laughed like mad, ignoring the fact it's impossible for you alone. Even if you bring help like last time, it won't do squat. Destroying a sect in Western lands will have severe repercussion to you and them. Zhuo Fan smirked, his eyes flashing with savagery. To a dead man like me, no rules of Western lands can hold me. Mystical Heaven Sect will never see tomorrow ever again. Zhuo Fan shot straight for Sect leader Xuan enveloped in black. Kill him, Sect leader Xuan roared, leading the charge. A flood of people came at Zhuo Fan, while his darkness spread to every corner, covering the world. 3 months later, the heaven-reaching pavilion in Double Dragon Manor. The Exalted sat in their seats with tightened brows. Below them were 50 ethereal stage experts, the survivors of Beast Taming Sect. So you're saying it's all Demon Scheming Sect's scheme? Exalted High Rand's piercing gaze washed over them. The men bobbed their heads. Exalted, it's without a doubt their plan. They first wanted us to wear down Tianyu, helping them eliminate their traitors only so they could ambush our sect from behind, even destroying it. If not that, how else would our sect barrier be broken so easily and have our home in ruins? Maybe sect leader's guard was down since we were in agreement with Zai Weiyu, giving him the chance to raid us. I asked that Exalted make it right for our righteous beast taming sect. Bam, Exalted High Rand slammed the table, barking, damn that Zai Weiyu, I warned him not to cause trouble. Does he really think I'm blind to his twisted methods? I overlooked it this time, but he actually went as far as bringing outsiders to weaken his sect. Exalted is right. Zai Weiyu is vile and repulsive. Beast Taming Sect's elders echoed at once. It only worked to have Exalted High Rand vent on them. You fools aren't any better. His sect had gotten peaceful again, yet you stepped in as well. We'll take Exalted's lesson to heart. The elders bobbed their heads. Exalted High Rand snorted and glared. What now? Your entire sect is gone. High Rand, let's leave this matter for now. The most important thing is if the Demon Scheming Sect really did it or not. Exalted by May spoke. Demon Scheming Sect's power aside, will he really have the nerve to do such an outrageous act? The conflicts between the 9 sects would never go as far as total annihilation. Everyone in Western lands knows that. The minute a sect violates it, the others will remove it. Would he actually do such a thing? But if it's not Demon Scheming Sect, then who? In one night, not a single soul was left in the sect. Exalted High Rand frowned. Report. A Double Dragon Manor's elder scrambled to present a jade slip with trembling hands and pale face. Exalted, the Demon Scheming Sect and Mystical Heaven Sect have been destroyed in the span of a day. What? The two shot to their feet in shock. Beast Taming Sect's elders were stunned. Demon Scheming Sect is gone as well. So it's not them who ruined ours. Did we blame the wrong person? Dang crisp sounds came from far and wide. Bam! A golden light flashed from the depths of a stream, revealing Yi Lin's tense look. He was covered in golden flames as he slowly withdrew them within himself. Yi Lin looked in the distance. What's gotten the Exalted so anxious to call a meeting of everyone in Double Dragon Manor? An enemy attack perhaps. Thinking it over, Yi Lin flew for heaven-reaching pavilion. Hee, this should be fun. Who in another part, colored lights faded to reveal 3 lithe figures. Through much toil this past year, Chu King Cheng, Shui Ruohua and Danner finally entered the ethereal stage. King Cheng, empty spirit body is amazing. We're fresh ethereal stage cultivators, but together we can even fight one in the 6th layer. Shui Ruohua revealed a wide smile. Catching her breath, Chu King Cheng wiped her brow, not relaxing for a moment as she shook her head. Still not enough. This isn't nearly enough to face the guardians of the lower 3 sects, let alone an entire sect. King Cheng, you still want the Demon Scheming Sect. Shui Ruohua sighed. You have to understand already that the Exalted won't ever let you do this. Double Dragon Manor is already conceding more than enough by allowing Zai Weiyu to be taken down and putting Zhuo Fan's spirit to rest. Danner nodded. Western lands has its rules. No matter how strong our array is, we still can't destroy its core. We'll end up being hunted down. I don't care. None who harmed Zhuo Fan shall escape. Chu Qingcheng's eyes flashed with hatred, her fists clenched. For my late husband's revenge, anything is worth it, even becoming Western Land's enemy. The two girls sighed. We'll have to leave Western Lands together. Senior sister, you don't have to say it. A sister in need is a sister indeed. You want to betray Western Lands, and we shall stand with you all the way. Shui Ruohua held her shoulder with a giggle. Besides, Zhuo Fan sure left a good impression. If not for you two being together and us being sisters, I might have made a move. Revenge for one's husband doesn't sound so bad. Hi, senior sister, you finally admit it. You like your junior sister's husband, Danner teased. Shui Ruohua raised an eyebrow, bit back. You're one to talk, always sticking so close to her husband. Don't think for a second your innocent act fooled anyone. As if you're still denying it, the girls burst out laughing. Chu Qingcheng felt comforted having them around, the only two sisters who would go with her. The sound of a bell echoed in the distance, startling them. They rushed towards heaven-reaching pavilion. It was their first time hearing the bell being sounded, knowing it was only rung in dire situations. The bell's ringing reached one particular pond. Once the blaze faded, Yan Mo's stern face was revealed. A breeze went by and Wu Qinkyu appeared as well. Did something happen? We'll know when we get there. They flew in the bell's direction as well. People from all around the Double Dragon Manor had heard the call and answered by converging to heaven-reaching pavilion. The exalted sat on their main chairs, with the elders seated just below them. Behind them were Chu Qingcheng and all the other disciples Double Dragon Manor had taken in to nurture. The image was complete with some laborers who bowed at the further end. The exalted scanned the crowd to see all had come. Their faces were grave, finding it hard where to begin. Lords, what has happened to warrant an urgent meeting? One elder bowed. Exalted High Ran took out a jade slip, sighing, news just arrived that in just 6 months, the Western Land's lower 3 sects, Beast Taming Sect, Demon Scheming Sect, and Mystical Heaven Sect had been wiped out overnight. There are no survivors. What? Panic spread among the crowd, with the elders whispering among each other. Order had been instilled ever since the 9 sects of Western Lands came to be, preventing anything remotely as grave as this from taking place. So how all of a sudden, Chu Qingcheng's group was taken aback for a moment before smiling. The criminals behind Zhuo Fan's death had been put down before we could. Is this providence? Haha, good for them. Yilin was looking mighty uncomfortable, to say the least. Oh hell, don't tell me elder brother did it. Master had him go around setting arrays, but he went for revenge first. Not that it has anything to do with me. I do wonder, though, was it really possible for him to actually kill every last one of them? Won't that mean elder brother got even stronger? I better put my back into it before he leaves me way behind. Yilin's mind was set. Exalted, was this done by an insider or by other lands? Wu Qinkyu stood up. Exalted by Mei nodded, appreciating his valor. While others were too overwhelmed, he was focused on unraveling the problem. It's too soon to tell, but I suspect it wasn't done by anyone from Western Lands. There's just too few that can actually do it. A simple investigation is sure to expose them, and they would never go that far either. This only leaves other lands as the probable suspects. Wu Qinkyu nodded, having reached the same conclusion. This was the only logical explanation. I bet it was a ghost. The snort drew everyone's attention to Yilin's mocking look. They gave him a weird look, then Wu Qinkyu asked, "Little junior brother, why do you say that?" Nothing. It's just that I find these sects odd." Yilin darted his eyes around before saying, "Just think about it." Beast Taming Sect aside, the other 2 lower 3 sects had all engaged in murder just a year ago. The exalted exclaimed at once, Zhuo Fan, Zhuo Fan. Chu Qingcheng swayed, her gaze vacant as she looked at Yilin. What are you trying to say? Yilin and Zhuo Fan had a bone to pick in Double Dragon Gathering, which made Chu Qingcheng give him the cold shoulder in Double Dragon manner. It was certainly odd to hear this ever-silent man talk of his own accord. Yilin glanced over. Zhuo Fan had warned him to not say anything about him, but at the end of the day, this woman was his elder brother's wife. The least he could do was offer some comforting words to his sister-in-law. Gazing into Chu Qingcheng's hopeful eyes, Yilin spoke. I'm saying that it's possible that someone took revenge for Zhuo Fan, or his ghost did it instead. How else could an entire sect have not a single soul survive? It's too strange, especially when it's filled with ethereal stage experts. The exalted shook. Why didn't we think of that? It might be revenge for the cruel event involving the Demon Scheming Sect, Mystical Heaven Sect, Heaven Trailing Sect, and Universal Righteous Sect. Did that make Beast Taming Sect a smokescreen? Won't that mean the next target is? Exalted High Ran panicked. Exalted by May appeased him. Don't get too excited. Heaven Trailing Sect isn't like the other 3. It's a middle 3 sect with plenty of soul harmony experts. They'll be fine. Still, we'll have to look into this event thoroughly. It will have a great impact on Western Land's order. Exalted by Mei looked below. I'm forming an investigation team to look into these three sects. The team will be led by an elder, taking disciples along as a trial. I will go. Chu Qingcheng was the first to speak, her eyes shining with hope. Yilin's words made her want to see just who took revenge for her late husband, who would go as far as destroy three sects, but what she really wished for was the avenging ghost Yilin talked about. Chu Qingcheng's heart jumped. Yilin grinned. Elder brother, I didn't say anything. Under the sun's warm glow, a soft breeze touched a still lake. The warm air traced the flowers, grass, and trees, which they received by sprouting new leaves. Despite the blissful scenery, one man in black had a permanent scowl on his face, looking like a ghost from hell with that stone-cold expression. The icy aura coming off him was biting as he stood in the lake. He gently pointed in the air, making the air shimmer around his finger. Smirking, he muttered, "So this is Heaven Trailing Sect's defensive array. I might have not come here before, but I'm sure I came to the right place." A crackling sound came as his left eye held a black thunderflame. It spread in the air and burned a 3-meter hole in space, revealing a totally different scene. The man had a mocking smile as he entered with confidence. A piercing sound rang out throughout the sect the next second. "Enemy attack!" The shouts came from everywhere as they all converged around the man in black. There were tens of thousands, mostly disciples in the radiant stage, with few at peak and even fewer in the ethereal stage. The man shook his head. Heaven Trailing Sect is a middle 3 sect after all, so why do I only see ignorant pups in the radiant stage, and some even in the profound heaven stage? Why did all your elders die out? You dare barge into Heaven Trailing Sect, do you have a death wish? A familiar face popped in just 100 meters away, still as cocky and obnoxious as ever. Weren't you looking for an ethereal stage expert? Well, here I am, Humph, a first-layer ethereal stage cultivator isn't even worth our elders' time. The man in black halted, looking at him with a shake of his head. The disciples around were excited, buttering up. "Young master is the best. Your mere presence has rendered him mute. You're truly the best model for any of us." "Right you are." Young master had shown extraordinary valor and bravery in the Double Dragon gathering. "With you here, no elder is needed to deal with outsiders." He. Everyone clamored, while the young master looked even more smug and cocky, if that was possible. The man in black let out a thick, condescending chuckle for some odd reason. The young master barked, "What are you laughing at? At how you twisted facts, you brave at the Double Dragon gathering. Did you even get to showcase yourself?" The man in black mocked, "Ren Kong, you're lying to your poor junior brothers who haven't seen the Double Dragon gathering just so you could bask in their praises." The son of Heaven Trailing Sect's sect leader, Ren Kong, shuddered. Well, sure, he was a genius in his own right, reaching ethereal stage quite early, but that was relative to the scale. When compared to the whole of Western lands, he didn't make the cut. To say nothing more of Double Dragon Gathering, where geniuses are a dime a dozen. The top genius of Heaven Trailing Sect ended up suffering more than ever, but who was dumb enough to say that after returning? What then would become of his name, his image, the attention he was getting? So he made himself the tragic hero, having his team set up by demonic cultivator experts, with only him surviving after he fought with his life. This earned him greater fame and the disciples' admiration. As the future sect leader, fame couldn't be more important, far more than his integrity. This was why the elders kept silent too. Now that some weirdo showed up exposing his clowning at Double Dragon Gathering, he was revolted. "Who the hell are you? Who am I? Ha ha ha." Raising his head with a chuckle, he revealed the one face Ren Kong hated the most in this world. "Young Master Ren, how's your rosebud faring?" "Does it still hurt?" Face twitching, Ren Kong clenched his glutes in reflex, hiding his trauma with rage and hatred. "Zhuo Fan, you haven't died yet." "Die," Zhuo Fan cocked an inquisitive eyebrow, his smile ever mocking. "Who knows? Maybe I'm dead already, but seeing you bastards so carefree, it rubs me the wrong way. I'd be so much better to have you join me in hell." "Cut your damn act," Ren Kong shouted. Zhuo Fan shook his head. "You think I'm playing?" "Ha ha ha, maybe I'm just a ghost right now, one that wants to drag you all to hell." Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed with bloodlust. Ren Kong shuddered backward in fear. He knew very well what Zhuo Fan could do. But with so many fellow junior brothers around, he couldn't fail to perform his role. "All you know is how to be cocky. You can't do anything to us by yourself." What a joke. "An obnoxious prick like you isn't worth getting my hands dirty. Guys, get him." No one moved. The disciples looked at Ren Kong in hesitation. "Hey, young master, aren't you being mercurial here, sir? We get that you're far too precious and don't want to do it yourself, but can't you see his level? Most of us are in the radiant stage, with just a few fresh ethereal stage cultivators. Are you telling us to give our lives away? You're the only real ethereal stage expert here, so stop mincing words and attack." All looked off at Ren Kong, who noticed his mishap and froze. "Ignorant fools, you think I can win? My butt's still aching here, and you want me to fight this freak? Waiting for the elders is much better." What's taking them so long anyway? Ren Kong was waiting tensely while the disciples waited for him to move. It was truly comical how stiff the entire situation was, especially with all of them surrounding one guy. Zhuo Fan caught on and laughed, going for Ren Kong. Since you won't come, I'll go to you. Young Master Ren, weren't you a hero at Double Dragon Gathering? Show your juniors what their great senior can do, ha ha ha. Yeah, the disciples cheered, eager to see a good show. Zip it, face twitching, Ren Kong glared at the culprit on the verge of crying. That's Zhuo Fan we're talking about. Aside from the fact I'm not his match, I'll be sure to die in a few blows. These heartless fools, they only know how to flatter. Now that an enemy has come, you throw me to the wolves. You're killing me here. Ren Kong was seething in anger at his junior's betrayal while also waving his hands around at Zhuo Fan. Wait, let's talk this out. I don't want to fight. Oh, but I do, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan laughed, not stopping for a second. Ren Kong's heart thumped in shock. His first instinct was to flee, even forgetting to put up a Yuan Qi shield. Don't you harm my son? Whoosh. A mighty pressure spread as a strong man appeared before Ren Kong and punched Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan's killing arm flashed red as he punched as well. Bam. Zhuo Fan fell back to his previous spot while the man trailed the ground for 10 meters. There were clear marks left on the ground while his fist shook from the clash. Sect leader, dozens of elders arrived just then. Shocked at the result, Ren Zioan looked grave as he glared at Zhuo Fan. Who are you, sir, to trespass into heaven-trailing sect? Father, he's Zhuo Fan. He came for revenge. Ren Kong was giddy about reporting this fact with hateful eyes. My help is here, Zhuo Fan. Now you're done for, ha ha ha. Ren Zioan looked baffled. Aren't you supposed to be dead? Ha ha ha, that's not important right now. What is though is that everyone here will die today. Zhuo Fan had an evil smirk plastered on his face. Shuddering, Ren Zioan laughed, ha ha ha, a ghost coming back for revenge. So demon scheming sect and mystical heaven sect some time ago must be your work as well, I assume. But don't you go lump heaven trailing sect with those two. Since you bothered coming here though, then let me send you off to hell. I'll make sure you won't come back this time either. Well, aren't you confident? Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and mocked. Fan focusing all his power and bloodthirst into his fist, Zhuo Fan raised the killing arm to block. The resulting clash had actually sent Zhuo Fan flying for 1,000 meters, his prized arm unable to take all the brunt. Frowning, Zhuo Fan's red arm shook, which made Ren Zioan laugh. Ha ha ha, I didn't believe it when everyone told me what a monster you are, but now I do. My soul is that of the cold steel sword, tougher than anything. Anything below the soul harmony stage, even if made of black iron, can never stand up to it. Who'd have thought I'd see the day a mere fresh ethereal stage punk would do the impossible? You really are an abomination. Is that praise or mockery I hear? He was still going backward, even as his right hand was shaking. Zhuo Fan eyed him coldly. Grinning, Ren Zioan's eyes flashed red, praising what else? You're the first ethereal stage cultivator to take on a soul harmony cultivator's punch, though that's pretty much it. Ren Zioan's fist swung like a hammer, coming at Zhuo Fan's face from the side. Zhuo Fan felt an incredible pressure, taking his breath away. Squinting hard, Zhuo Fan was quick to act, and a draconic roar echoed as a scarlet dragon tail came from behind, lashing at the punch. Is this your heaven dragon soul, almighty scarlet dragon king? Ren Zioan lit up and laughed, wearing a nasty grin. A shame no matter how strong the soul, it's nothing against a soul harmony expert. Boom. The tail and the mighty fist finally clashed. The dragon howled, its tail flung back from the punch and landed hard on Zhuo Fan's face. He was sent flying once more, this time for miles, blasting any house or building in his way. SSS, everyone gasped in shock at the display. Sect leader is so strong. He killed him in one blow. Father is supreme. Sect leader is amazing. Ren Kong exploded in glee after a moment of stupefaction. The others bowed in respect. Sect leader is amazing. One elder came before Ren Zioan with a smile and a bow. Sect leader's power has improved again. Congratulations on your imminent advancement. I think so too as well, ha ha ha. Ren Zioan pointed in Zhuo Fan's direction. Someone check and see if he's still alive. Ha ha ha, highly unlikely. The elder smiled. It was a fluke for the boy to survive sect leader's first punch, so how could he take a second one? It always pays to be cautious. This kid's too tenacious, ha ha ha. Ren Zioan laughed in pride. Even he wrote Zhuo Fan off after that almighty punch of his, but he still wanted to be safe. If he survived, one more light strike should correct that. The elder's gaze was full of admiration, his words oozing flattery. Sect leader is so cautious for the future of heaven trailing sect. I shall now do my duty. Ren Zioan nodded, and the elder shouted for 2 disciples to check Zhuo Fan's body. How could young Master Ren ever miss the chance of seeing his enemy's mutilated corpse? Father, can I go as well? In case he survives, I'll be sure to not let my junior brothers suffer any problems. I can make a quick decision if anything happens. Our hero, the disciples were touched to the core. It never occurred to them to ask that since checking a corpse was so dangerous, why not send an elder instead? This showed sect leader was utterly confident Zhuo Fan would never crawl back out. Ren Kong thus was only taking this chance to be in the limelight. Ren Zioan admired his son for knowing to be prompt in any circumstance, when to retreat and when to flex. Sect leader young master is so brave and always has his fellow disciples' well-being at heart. It's a blessing to have him in our sect. The same elder went for another round of kissing rear, elating Ren Zioan. Ha ha ha, my child is always so reckless, making his father worry. Sect leader is right, young master's valor is beyond anyone's. He's a blessing to the sect, but he's also got sect leader concerned. Sigh such woe to your heart. The elder was far from finished it seemed. Ren Zioan eyed him and laughed. The elder is strong enough. He'll make a good venerable, ha ha ha. He gestured for Ren Kong to go. Ren Kong skipped over to the ruins in all his childish exuberance. Humph, Zhuo Fan, you finally got yours. Now let's see just how wretched your death is. Is your head popped like a melon or your limbs all over the place? Hee hee hee. Ren Kong shoved his hand in to grab Zhuo's body. An explosion sounded next, with a scarlet claw coming out ahead of him and grabbing his head. Ah, the wail echoed throughout the sect. The people shuddered, watching as a dusty and shabby person came out of the rubble. In his right he had a familiar figure, Ren Kong. Kungur, Ren Zioan cried out, overwhelmed by what he saw. Zhuo Fan, that punch should have killed you. Zhuo Fan turned his head, his eyes cold as ice. After spitting out the blood in his mouth, he sneered, how is a ghost supposed to die again? With a roar, a scarlet dragon head appeared next to Zhuo Fan. How is this possible? Ren Zioan was in disbelief. How is his soul intact after a soul harmony punch? How is it so strong? This can't be happening. Zhuo Fan mocked, ignorance is bliss. A soul's strength depends solely on the cultivation art. As for this dragon soul, the other variants won't be able to show its true potential. Only by changing its core is its power revealed. The scarlet dragon head shifted, turning golden with raging flames around its frame. Its power was the true difference, increased dozens of times, maybe even enough to pressure a soul harmony expert. Decimating Golden Heaven Dragon King was the strongest form of a heaven dragon soul, the only one capable of fighting a soul harmony expert. Ren Zioan and everyone around him stood dumbstruck. It was a first for them to see a soul unharmed after taking a soul harmony expert strike. Reason dictated soul harmony stage was the bane of souls, but this soul was just way too strong. Wu Ren Kong struggled in Zhuo Fan's grip, whining and wailing. Ren Zioan came to at last and shouted, Zhuo Fan, let my son go or... Pa! Zhuo Fan flicked his hand and threw Ren Kong to the golden dragon behind. It opened its fiery maw, swallowing Ren Kong whole. With a crunch, blood started spilling between its fangs in all directions, some even landing on Zhuo Fan's face. Zhuo Fan's cold smile never faltered, now creepier with all the blood. Ren Kong shook a couple of times before stilling. Turned into a golden dragon's chew toy, his soul was suffering the same fate, torn to bits. Seeing the blood of his son dripping on the ground from the dragon's teeth, Ren Zioan was lost for a moment. Then his eyes went bloodshot and he spat Zhuo Fan's name with all the hatred he could muster. Zhuo Fan, the shout of grief was filled with hatred and sadness. The disciples shook under it and fell back in fear. They had never seen their revered sect leader so bent on killing. Zhuo Fan didn't care, even giving a taunting smile. Bam! The anger was too much for Ren Zioan to take. Ignoring Zhuo Fan's power and how he survived, he charged right at him. His rage-fueled punch was actually stronger than before, smashing at Zhuo Fan's head, wanting to pulverize him. Zhuo Fan just stood there, watching the punch come, yet still deciding to block with his killing arm. Bam! Rattle, he was once again sent backward, 100 meters, but then Zhuo Fan exploded in golden flames as golden scales appeared on his skin. Zhuo Fan halted there and Ren Zioan's raging fist could push him no further. Even through the anger, Ren Zioan was shocked how, a mere fresh ethereal stage. Yeah, just how, the elders and disciples around stood dumbstruck. Zhuo Fan grinned, soul harmony stage is merely borrowing the soul's strength to improve the body. A sword soul would make a body tougher than ever, while a beast soul would turn one into an animal of extraordinary strength. Though it's not much of a difference in reaching the soul harmony stage if a body already possesses such power. There's no way, no one can train their body that hard. A human isn't a tool, nor an animal. Going so far will break it. That's the whole point of the soul harmony stage, a strong soul in a strong body. Ren Zioan gnashed his teeth. Zhuo Fan nodded in praise. Very good, sect leader Ren, for understanding the core of soul harmony stage. The true character of soul harmony stage is to bring a human's body to the strength of a spiritual beast, a notion passed on from antiquity. I wouldn't have known either if not for hearing some old myths. It seems that the arts, skills, and cultivation stages all came to be as a way to fight back the spiritual beasts. Sect leader Ren is sharp to figure on his own. Why can't I understand a word you're saying? Ren Zioan shouted. Zhuo Fan shook his head. You don't need to understand, just know. You're a soul harmony expert, but I am a true animal. Man and beast had fought since the dawn of time, with the result going either way depending on the case. But don't think for a second you're stronger than me as a soul harmony expert. Zhuo Fan's killing arm shook and sent Ren Zioan flying. Ren Zioan cried out. What's going on here? He was a soul harmony expert, but a mere shake of a fresh ethereal stage cultivator sent him flying. Ren Zioan refused to believe it, while his sect was watching dumbfounded. Zhuo Fan snapped in front of him, punching his chest with the killing arm. Sect leader, the audience cried out. Ren Zioan rushed to block with his hands. Bam! Feeling as if a mountain struck him, Ren Zioan shot like a meteor from Zhuo Fan's red punch, leveling everything within 5 miles of where he landed. Cries echoed as radiant stage disciples rushed out of the way. Even ethereal stage and soul harmony experts looked with lost gazes. How's this guy so strong? How is he forcing sect leader back? And he's just an ethereal stage cultivator. Not even a soul harmony expert can do that. Crash. As the dust fell, Ren Zioan shot from the rubble with blood dripping from his mouth. His eyes were hard as he looked around in search of Zhuo Fan. The famed Zhuo Fan was actually so strong as to even pummel the sect leader of a middle 3 sect. He was a soul harmony expert, a rarity in the Western lands too, wielding power way above the rest of the masses. Yet a kid was toying with him still. Ren Zioan gnashed his teeth. Whoosh! Following the whistling wind, Zhuo Fan appeared in a golden flash behind Ren Zioan, punching with his killing arm. Sect leader Ren, where are you looking? Ren Zioan swished around, only to meet the punch. Forced into a corner, he used his hands again to block. Bam! Ren Zioan went flying again. In mid-flight, Zhuo Fan appeared ahead of him and punched his back hard as he arrived. PFF. The immense power connected this time, and Ren Zioan spat blood, looking pale and slamming into the ground again. Golden flashed once more and Zhuo Fan appeared where Ren Zioan was about to land to punch again. In a twisted game of catch, Ren Zioan acted as the ball while Zhuo Fan just punched him around, making sure not to drop him. He appeared all over the place to make sure to give Ren Zioan some serious damage. The audience was looking dumb at this point. That speed is insane, like a ghost's. They all knew this was no skills doing, but brought about by pure speed, something not even a soul harmony expert could achieve. Who'd ever believe an ethereal stage child could be so abominable? If the late Ren Kong would be here right now to witness such a familiar scene, he'd be shocked to the core. It was the same thing he saw in Zhuo Fan's battle with Yi Lin. The only difference was Zhuo Fan was more gruesome. While both had the dragon ancestors' golden flame inheritance, Zhuo Fan had a true sacred beast's body, the Killin's arm. The new and improved Zhuo Fan, coupled with the mighty arm and golden flame, was no longer your run-of-the-mill monster. Saying he was a half-sacred beast wasn't a stretch either. Bang booming came constantly from up above as Ren Zioan was punched around while spilling blood every time. Despite being in the soul harmony stage, he was powerless to stop him. He was looking worse and worse. He won't last long in this world. Ren Zioan felt downcast at this truth. A great sect leader like him was going to die in his sect as his son did from an ethereal stage cultivator. This was disgraceful. Sect leader, shouts came from below and he woke up to the fact he was not alone. Seeing their leader about to breathe his last, the elders sprung into action. A dozen soul harmony venerables finally came to their senses and charged towards Zhuo Fan. Ren Zioan was moved to tears. God damn it, those geezers finally come to help. I've been waiting for ages. No matter how much of a freak the brat was, with these dozen soul harmony experts, even he would suffer since he was still in the ethereal stage. Zhuo Fan glanced over at the incoming enemy and ignored Ren Zioan to deal with them. Brat, are you looking to die coming at us? You killed our young master, harmed the sect leader. Now you shall pay for your crimes with your life, ha ha ha. The men of heaven trailing sect looked smug, talking about winning before they even clashed like Zhuo Fan was finished. A shame reality never conformed to their delusions. Whoosh, golden flashes shot around as Zhuo Fan clashed with the dozen soul harmony experts. Wails resounded the next moment as the men were split apart, crumbling to the ground. Their scarlet blood gave the sky a red tint. Zhuo Fan was the only one standing with a pitch-black longsword in his hand. The hopeful Ren Zioan felt his face twitch. Just how strong is this brat to kill a dozen soul harmony experts in a blink? But why use the sword on them but only punch me around? Hope turned into despair in a matter of seconds. Ren Zioan was so touched by Zhuo Fan's attentive care that he almost cried. The witnessing elders, disciple and venerables looked stupefied. gasping at the totally outrageous outcome. The sect only had those soul harmony experts, yet all were killed in a flash. As the bloody rain fell, with squishy parts in between, the audience froze. No one made a single peep. Zhuo Fan took back the sword, turning around to grin at his previous trusty, punching back Ren Zioan. Shuddering, Ren Zioan's mood hit rock bottom. Again, why me? I can't take it anymore, dying in 2 hits. You elders, don't just stand there, help. Everyone was still looking lost. Maybe the shock was so great it upended all their common sense, or it just might be that they were smart enough to play dumb and not die like the others before them. Ren Zioan wanted to curse. They just loved buttering him up every day all day, but when it counted, none would help. A bunch of double-crossing degenerates. The elders were having difficulties themselves, though. With the best soul harmony experts removed so easily, as ethereal stage experts, they'd only go there to die. Sect leader, you gotta take us into consideration to preserve the strength of the sect. Ren Zioan looked to be in the pits of despair. It's over, who'll help me now? Zhuo Fan snickered, shooting for him. Ha ha ha, sect leader Ren, the great middle 3 sect, heaven-trailing sect, is nothing short of a letdown. All your elders are cowards, none willing to risk themselves to save you. Talk about a useless sect leader. Ren Zioan's face twitched. Sect leader, the elders finally cried out in anger, though none thought of coming over. Fine, fine, I already knew your stance. I'm about to hang, so what's the point of faking sympathy to console me? Humph, hypocrites. Ren Zioan huffed and sneered. He was wondering if these geezers were really after sympathy, or maybe they had been hypocrites for so long they forgot how to act natural. One thing was certain, these ingratiating oldies were useless when the going got tough like now. I should have just sent them first to fight. What was wrong with me when I went to fight that freak? Ren Zioan was wallowing in regret. A shame none of this mattered at this point. Zhuo Fan popped next to him and punched at his head. It didn't follow the same game from before. The strike was filled with the desire to kill. Even Zhuo Fan got tired of playing. Ren Zioan's heart sank inside. I just had to mess with the wrong monster. Whoosh, just before Zhuo Fan's killing blow landed, a whistling sound passed by his ear. Zhuo Fan's punch halted and he jumped back while leaning his head back. Just in time too, as a sword wave was inches from his nose. The sharp golden energy even made his face sting despite not touching him. Boom. The sword wave destroyed a faraway forest in a huge explosion. Fire and dust covered the skies, erasing everything in dozens of miles. That attack was even stronger than his punch. Zhuo Fan gulped, hovering in the air and sweating bullets. Looking up, he saw a tall man in white, looking rather young. He was holding the heavily wounded Ren Zioan, looking down with a calm gaze. High Venerable, the audience cheered at seeing their savior, bowing in respect. Ren Zioan grinned. High Venerable, you came. You'd be dead if I didn't. High Venerable threw Ren Zioan down. The spectating elders rushed to catch him, looking after his every need. Though Ren Zioan's opinion of them already dropped. Disaster came at our doors and you only now show care. Too little too late, Ren Zioan remained silent with a dark look. High Venerable laughed and turned to Zhuo Fan. What problems might you have with heaven-trailing sect to cause such a big scene? Heaven-trailing sword, Zio Yunshin? Zhuo Fan squinted then mocked. You're out at last. I'm demon scheming sect's High Venerable Yuan Xinggang's disciple, Zhuo Fan. Shaking, Zio Yunshin looked at him hard before nodding. I see, so you're the one he mentioned. Your master was very proud of you till the end. I've never seen that look on him before. It even got me curious to see you. But then I heard rumors of universal righteous sect targeting you and that you didn't survive. Who knew I'd survive and come find you? Grinning, Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed with bloodthirst. Zio Yunshin, I heard you killed my master. That's why I came here to take your head. Zio Yunshin was as calm as ever, turning to the heavily wounded Ren Zioan. That's why you kept him alive, to make me step in. True, but you came rather late. Now your great sect is a dozen soul harmony experts short. Ha ha ha, sorry, but I've been in seclusion and couldn't hear the commotion until now. Zio Yunshin smiled, not minding his own sect's experts had been mowed down. Zhuo Fan was puzzled. Is the High Venerable not on good terms with those oldies, or maybe he stands above taunts and ingratiations? Zio Yunshin spoke. You must have come for revenge. Would you mind answering a question first? I'm the most accommodating to dead men. Ha ha ha, how cocky, although Zio Yunshin looked around and nodded. You do have the power to back it up. I can see now why the old man was so proud of you. You're truly gifted. Only I just heard that the demon scheming sect is in ruins. Did you do that? Zhuo Fan nodded. Correct. You knew the demon scheming sect was the old man's most cherished place. Even with the traitorous elders having a hand in killing him, they were all the core of the demon scheming sect. Their death means the end of demon scheming sect and the end of all his efforts. Is this revenge to pay your respect or get rid of everything? Zio Yunshin's eyes stared hard, waiting for an answer. Zhuo Fan's gaze didn't falter, then laughed. Who said I'm taking revenge for Master? Zhao Yunshin was stunned. In the end, Master is dead and he won't come back just because I took revenge. Zhuo Fan spoke with a sage look. Everyone is looking to avenge themselves, and I'm no different. Demon Scheming Sect had been my master's cherished place, but not mine. I only cared about Master and not the sect. I even told him that Demon Scheming Sect will be home as long as he was there. When that ceased, ha ha ha, there's no home without kin. Master had his path and I have mine. Even as Master was killed, I'm sure he still didn't want to see the sect in ruins. But from how I saw it, every last one of them are his killers. If I don't destroy those bastards, I'd have not let down Master, but myself and my path. Zhao Yunshin, do you get it now? Zhao Yunshin shuddered, looking at the sky in ponder. Elder Yuan's final words echoed loud in his ears. Zai Waiyu, you're damning the sect. So that's what he meant. Taking a deep breath and turning to Zhuo Fan, Zhao Yunshin laughed. Ha ha ha, I see it now. Old man, I finally understand why you're so proud of him. He's good, no, great, ha ha ha. Zhao Yunshin's laughter confused everyone, even Zhuo Fan. Has the old man gone senile? Why laugh? Did I trigger an epiphany in him? Zhao Yunshin's gaze on Zhuo Fan was even more appreciative, truly worthy of that old man's praise, having surpassed your master. I'm not talking about strength, but your heart. The old man toiled all his life for the sect, only to have it fall at your hand. It may look like you went against your master, but you actually received his true inheritance. The old man worked hard on his path, as do you. Moreover, you don't let anything interfere, not hesitating even when your master is involved. Ha ha ha, this is the essence of an inheritance, walking your own path. Old man, you failed in your toil, but rest easy now that you left such a disciple behind. Zhao Yunshin sighed. The next moment his eyes sharpened, staring at Zhuo Fan with bloodthirst, unleashing sharp winds from all around him. I, however, have my own path I shall stick to. Raising his hand and sticking out 2 fingers, sharp sounds echoed around. I know you came to destroy my sect, but to me, like your master, the sect is everything. No matter what, even if you're a junior, when it comes to the fate of the sect, I'll still fight you despite liking you as I liked your master. Your death is the only way. Zhuo Fan had a creepy grin. Enough friendliness. Attack already. Very well, Zhao Yunshin slashed with his hand and a sword edge extended from his fingers, coming down on Zhuo Fan's head. Like death from above, the immense power of the sharp attack pressured Zhuo Fan. The incredible power that was enough to split the earth in 2 made Zhuo Fan gasp and force him down. This is the might of the first sword in the middle 3 sects. Zhuo Fan squinted. The audience was gaping, but also cheered inside. This is High Venerable. His attack has the power to shake the world. Even the weary Ren Zioan nodded in shock. He never saw High Venerable unleash his ultimate skill, heaven-reaching sword, to such a degree. It only showed how much Zhao Yunshin cared for Zhuo Fan. The kid is done for with High Venerable's attack. Yeah, High Venerable is different from those other soul harmony experts. He is unique even among the Western land's soul harmony experts. Yeah, the brat never saw it coming. Heaven Trailing Sect might be the last middle 3 sect, but our High Venerable is the guardian of the sect. The brat is finished, ha ha ha. Despite the coin grating the 2's ears, it did not affect their mood. Zhao Yunshin showed no reaction to their buttering and Zhuo Fan showed no panic to their taunts. They were fully committed to the battle, like veterans. They only had eyes for each other. Rumble, the huge and mighty sword strike was imminent. Zhuo Fan's killing arm let out an eerie red glow while his body erupted in golden flames. He wanted to use the half-beast form to withstand the sword attack. Roar, Zhuo Fan shouted as he punched, clashing with the huge sword with a loud boom. The shockwave spread everywhere, containing invisible sword energy. Ren Zioan shouted, scatter. An ethereal stage cultivator can't take a soul harmony battle's shockwaves. The elders flew away with Ren Zioan, but there were still some ethereal stage disciples lagging behind and falling victims to the stray sword energy. Whoosh, the traces of sword energy fell like meteor rain upon the entire sect. When one pierced a disciple, the victim was pulverized as well. When it touched the ground, it would leave a crater, shattering any poor devil around it. Cries of agony resounded from every corner, turning this place into the end of days as tens of thousands of disciples met their end. Ren Zioan's group had gotten to a safe distance and were aggrieved by the losses, yet too scared to help. Zhao Yunshin was ignoring all these, focused fully on fighting Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan's red arm released a scorching glow as he struck above. The 2 were in a deadlock, but every time they pushed harder, it spelled doom for the rest of Heaven Trailing Sect. The brat is actually so strong. He blocked High Venerable's attack and had our disciples suffer around him. Ren Zioan looked at the 2 in a deadlock with a grave look. The brat can't be left alive or it's over for us. The elders nodded, grave as well. Good one, kid. My heaven-reaching sword borrows the power of the world to form sword energy. It is like a sword from the heavens above to split the earth below. Few soul harmony experts can take it. I'm amazed you can too. Zhao Yunshan watched as Zhuo Fan lifted the huge sword. Yuan Xinggang had gotten himself a great disciple. Not just any talent can pull this off. Zhuo Fan showed a smug grin, only taking it. I think you're underestimating me here, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's left eye flashed with the black thunderflame, then two golden halos in his right eye. The divine eye of the void and apocalyptic thunderflame eye were working together. Zhuo Fan was using them at the same time for the first time ever. Divine Eye of the Void's second stage, Void Annihilating Thunderflame. Boom! A rumble sounded from above and a black fire pillar shot forth, unleashing its almighty aura. The pillar of fire pierced the sword and reached the heavens. Crack! Something broke then as Zhao Yunshan watched in disbelief while his prized heaven-reaching sword crumbled to pieces. All the power he put in it also scattered. Zhuo Fan capitalized on this opening to use his right fist and break the rest of it, making it turn back into spiritual energy. Zhao Yunshan was overwhelmed. Hao, his prized skill heaven-reaching sword, was broken just like that. Ren Zioan and the elders were shocked. They knew the power of heaven-reaching sword, connected with the world and using its power. One had to be way above High Venerable's level to break this flawless skill. So how did it fail now? They had no idea Zhuo Fan used Void Annihilation along with the Thunderflame to break it. Nothing in this world could survive the scorching power of the all-destructive Thunderflame, let alone a sword made of energy. Whoosh! Zhuo Fan shot forth for Zhao Yunshan with his scarlet fist ready to draw blood. Zhao Yunshan hastily retreated, using his fingers to release golden sword energy at Zhuo Fan. Having seen his sword energy's power, Zhuo Fan knew very well that being kept at a distance would give the old man an advantage. Zhuo Fan chose thus to not block the attacks, making the decimating golden flame explode around him, and using Divine Eye of the Void's first stage to dance between the attacks and reach Zhao Yunshan with his punch. Zhao Yunshan felt the brutal power bearing down on him, and he replied by unleashing the heaven-reaching sword once more. A sword from above once again struck Zhuo Fan, only this time it was at a much closer distance. Dodging now would make some distance between them, and if Zhuo Fan blocked it, it would result in entering a deadlock like before, letting Zhao Yunshan pull back. It would help Zhao Yunshan regardless of blocking or not. The two tough choices were once again thrown before Zhuo Fan. Yunshan was ready to get some distance, since any choice Zhuo Fan made would give him this chance. He would get away from the brat and then use the huge sword energy to gain the upper hand. Zhuo Fan's savage right hand once again came into play, out of his expectations. The guy was determined to block the sword while having a weird grin on his face. Zhao Yunshan was uneasy, watching as the sword energy and the right hand made contact. The attack went through Zhuo Fan, tearing him to pieces and then to nothing. Zhao Yunshan rushed to move away, looking puzzled. What's going on here? His punch should block my heaven-reaching sword, so why didn't it now? He was destroyed in a second. Did he use up all his energy? Zhao Yunshan looked around to see the audience was overjoyed. High Venerable is amazing. He killed the kid in an instant. That's our heaven-trailing sect's guardian. As long as High Venerable is around, heaven-trailing sect fears no one. High Venerable has grown again, a blessing for our sect, ha ha ha. Ren Zioyan bobbed his head in total agreement. It felt off how Zhuo Fan got done in just now, but it also made sense in a way. The first time Zhuo Fan blocked High Venerable's attack, he had time to prepare and inspect it. Even so, it was still tough. But now, High Venerable having unleashed the same destructive attack so close, Zhuo Fan had a lapse in attention that proved to be fatal. Death would come from just one strike in a battle of experts. Zhao Yunshan was in total disagreement. Having witnessed Zhuo's calm and weird smile, he knew for a fact that wasn't a suicidal one. Zhao Yunshan felt uneasy when he recalled it, and his feeling only grew stronger. High Venerable is amazing, sir, has earned the greatest merit in fighting off the enemy attack. Please receive my and all our elders' respect. Barely getting on his feet, Ren Zioan looked grave, giving Zhao Yunshan a deep bow, with the rest following after him. Giving an annoyed wave, Zhao Yunshan was feeling restless. Whoosh! A sharp cry came from behind, followed by an icy bloodthirst. Startled, he looked back to see a pitch-black blade in his face. Caught by surprise, Zhao Yunshan worked on instinct, raising two fingers to stab with Yuan Qi. PFF. The fingers flew before Zhao Yunshan, seeing Zhuo Fan's weird grin in front of him. Zhao Yunshan, you got soft. Zhao Yunshan's brow shook, feeling pain from below. What he saw made him sigh. He had ended up just like the other soul harmony experts, cut in two. The black sword had cut through his belly and his soul. Double Dragon Manor's divine weapon, vaulting sword. Zhao Yunshan had blood coming from his mouth, yet he looked quite calm. Zhuo Fan nodded. You're going about what killed you when you're already dead. Ha ha ha, of course, since the heaven-reaching sword was gleaned while training in double dragon manner. I had the chance to stand 100 meters from this divine weapon and sense its aura. While I don't know its current aura, I can tell it from its appearance. Zhuo Yunshan smiled. My skill can block any spiritual weapon for some time, with just this divine weapon able to cut it. Zhuo Fan said, your power and heart are high, and I wouldn't have one if not for trickery. You're no ordinary soul harmony expert. I didn't want to kill you either, but you're shielding heaven-trailing sect and have killed my master. I could never let you go. Ha ha ha, I know that as well. Zhuo Yunshan smiled. I shouldn't fight you as you're my old friend's disciple. But with your strength in coming to destroy my sect, I had to do it to avoid its demise. We each have our reason to kill the other, just that you came out on top and I lost. That's all there is to it. Though I'm curious about one thing, what just happened? Sensing he was close to the end, Zhuo Fan humored him. I have a lot of great skills, and one of them is capable of setting up a space and creating an illusion. What you have cut was just my illusion while I hid in that space. I waited for you to be consumed by this strange event and struck when your guard was down. I see, so there's a strange skill like that in the world. Zhuo Yunshan looked white, looking at Zhuo Fan through a haze. Such a skill had never been seen in Western lands. I'm sure that the whole world hasn't one user, especially that old man. Although he said you're his disciple, who is your true master? Zhuo Fan pondered his hopeful gaze. Elder Yuan is my master in Tao that I respect and admire, while the master that passed on his skills to me is someone else. He is a reclusive expert. I don't know if he's dead or alive, but I'm sure he's very strong, stronger than anyone in these lands, already in the Genesis stage. Everything is nothing more than an ant to him. He's better than the Central Area's invincible sword. Invincible. Humph, only an ignorant fool would call himself that. Zhuo Fan mocked. Even when that master can flick him to death, he still won't proclaim himself invincible. Zhuo Yunshan shook and sighed. This is fate. With such a strong master, why did we even go to offend you? Even if you die, your master would come for revenge. Western lands wouldn't be able to stop him, and the sect would perish. I had given my all and have no regrets. Old man, I lost to your disciple. You should rest now. Spewing blood, Zhuo Yunshan's eyes lost their light as he fell. High Venerable, the elders below were shocked. Their protector, High Venerable, was dead. Everyone was by themselves with fear as they watched the lone figure in the air. How could they let Zhuo's twisted words entice them and bring about such calamity? Zhuo Fan looked coldly at the body on the ground and sighed. None of them wanted to fight, but their position made it impossible to avoid a clash. Life is so frustrating. After this frustration, what he loved the most was sending these bastards to hell. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone and turned on Ren Zion's group with a twisted smile. The victims shook in terror. A month later, Blackwind Mountain was packed with people, as well as 3 new familiar faces, Chu Qingcheng, Yi Lin, and Wu Qingqiu. Luo Yunhai saw that everyone was here and began. People, everyone should be familiar with Edifice Lord Chu. She now represents Double Dragon Manor and has come to investigate the recent sect destructions. The other 2 are Ultimate Clarity Sect's senior brothers Wu Qingqiu and Yi Lin. Everyone bowed in respect and caution. None from Superior 3 sects could be offended, especially from Double Dragon Manor. There's no need for courtesy. We only came to ask some questions, just think of us as guests. Wu Qingqiu was quite respectful. After our investigation of the Demon Scheming Sect and Mystical Heaven Sect, we found not a soul alive, yet also no traces. The more people there are, the more clues there should be, while the less there are, the more powerful they had to be. As we have nothing to go on as of now, we could only ask the help of the greatest faction closest to the 2 sects, the Luo Alliance. Everyone jerked. Are you suspecting us? PFF. The sudden outburst got everyone to turn to Yi Lin. Ha ha ha, sorry, but have some self-respect. None of us are fools here. You're the last suspects if you ever were, especially with your strength. Yi Lin mocked, earning angry glares. We may be weaker than you, but are you looking down on us by voicing it? Chu Qingcheng mediated. Sorry, everyone, he's always so rude. Don't mind him. We only came to understand something. Who knows where Zhuo Fan's master is? Steward Zhuo's master? Everyone present was taken aback. Then they started talking amongst themselves in hushed tones. The members present here were all from the Tianyu Empire and many from the former 7 noble houses. Yet all here, once foe or friend, looked into Zhuo Fan with no results. Chu Qingcheng's sudden question had them thinking again. With Zhuo Fan's capacity for power and shrewdness, just where's his master? That's what we'd like to know too. Edifice Lord Chu, you're asking the wrong person. All of us are in the dark as well. Steward Zhuo came from the Luo clan, so you're better off asking them. An elder of ex-sword marquis abode pointed to Luo Yunhai on his main seat. The others bobbed their heads. Yeah, you should be asking the Luo clan. Steward Zhu is theirs. If they don't know, no one does. Luo Yunhai shrugged. People, Brother Zhu might have come from the Luo clan, but not even we know how he got all those skills. I believe that all of you, having roamed Tianyu for decades, are far wiser and capable of getting some hints into his background. You think we'd have lost to you so badly if we'd known already? Rolling their eyes, the people from Hell Valley, Pil King Hall, and many others twisted their heads away in annoyance. Wu Qinkyu's team frowned. Did Zhuo Fan just pop out of a rock or something? There were so many powers in Tianyu, yet none figured out his master. Luo Yunhai shook his head and cupped his hands. Sorry, senior brother Wu, brother Zhuo had grown up in the Luo clan just like any ordinary person. Only after the Luo clan was facing disaster did brother Zhuo reveal his talents. Not once had he ever remotely mentioned anything about his master either, so we didn't press the issue either. Even though you came a long way to check on his background, I'm sorry to say that not even we know. How can that be? Wu Qinkyu was stumped. Chu Qingcheng looked disappointed, hoping to get a trace of Zhuo Fan through them, that maybe. We didn't get anything. Yilin was calm as a cucumber, though he was smart not to show it, only displaying a vague smile. Zhuo Fan's master was among the greatest in sacred domain and the oldest. It was obvious they were clueless. This secret was privy to a very few sacred beasts and himself, a sacred beast inheritor. Others would ever know such a heavy secret. Not like they deserve it, humph. Yilin dangled one leg over the other, looking quite smug. The grasp of secrets embodies the gap between people, ha ha ha. Just as the investigation hit a dead end, an aged voice said, Last Chuchu, why exactly are you looking into Zhuo Fan anyway? Are you perhaps suspecting that the fall of the three sects have something to do with him? Chu Qingcheng looked back at the group with hope. The one to call her that had to be an elder close to her from years back. Uncle Jiu, Chu Qingcheng turned to Elder Jiu from the X-Veiled Dragon Pavilion, Godailong Jiu. He was the first senior involved with Zhuo Fan in Tianyu. The two grew so close they became brothers. Godailong Jiu had to know something about Zhuo Fan. Chu Qingcheng bowed in joy. Uncle Jiu, how have you been all these years? Godailong Jiu smiled. Ha ha ha, still kicking, though aggrieved having heard of brother Zhu's passing. If only I had the strength, I would have. Long Jiu's eye flashed with bloodthirst. Chu Qingcheng clenched her fists. Yeah, they don't have the power, or they'd have long destroyed the demon scheming sect. Wu Qinkyu sighed at the sudden shift in mood, also saddened. As a member of the investigation team, he didn't come to incite revenge, though. So he bowed. Junior sister Qingcheng sees Sir as Uncle Jiu, so I'll be presumptuous to call Sir that as well, despite my inadequacies. Oh, there's no need for that, young Master Wu. Long Jiu returned the bow. Wu Qinkyu was nice and very polite without any arrogance. He was still a disciple from a superior three sect, not to mention in the ethereal stage. Long Jiu would never take advantage and presume himself his elder. Wu Qinkyu smiled. Uncle Jiu is too kind. It's only natural to treat seniors as such. Moreover, I also notice Sir has been referring to Zhuo Fan as brother. I would be very grateful if Uncle Jiu would be willing to answer some questions. Young Master Wu, please ask away. Long Jiu bowed as Wu Qinkyu did. Wu Qinkyu nodded. Uncle Jiu, to be quite honest, we suspect the culprit in the destruction of the three sects to have come from outside our lands, or someone taking revenge for what happened to Zhuo Fan a year ago. Thus I ask for everyone's help in telling us if Zhuo Fan had been close to anyone in Tianyu besides you all. As far as I know, his skills did not come from the demon scheming sect, so where could they come from? Are you implying that his master took revenge? Long Jiu cried out. The others jumped, perking their ears to not miss a thing. It has to be. To train an abomination like Zhuo Fan, the power achieving this must be a force to be reckoned with. They had begun to have an inkling just how great his background was. It was not like just any average power could just ruin three sects in Western lands overnight. The ones to rejoice the most were the X-houses. Thank God Zhuo Fan won in the fight for Tianyu. If he lost at our hands, then Tianyu would have been plunged into hell. When it destroyed the demon scheming sect, of Western lands 9 sects, ruining Tianyu would have been child's play if they thought about it. So that's why he was so obnoxious. I always felt it off. His backing explains it. Demon scheming sect never figured it out, so that's why they're now 6 feet under. That's what you get for messing with someone stronger than you thinking you're better. So easy when you have no clue who's behind him. Everyone sighed. Only Long Jiu pondered, Brother Zhu's master, and well, he did mention it once, though I'm not sure if it was real or not. Really, who? Wu Qinkyu lit up. Long Jiu was grave. Overlord 9 Serenities. Wu Qinkyu's group was stunned. Overlord 9 Serenities, is there someone like that in Western lands? Yilin almost did a spit take. Is that a reference to 9 Serenities sovereign? Elder brother, are you toying with these yokels for not knowing about the 10 sovereigns? Everyone around looked perplexed. Uncle Jiu, Overlord 9 Serenities does sound great, but I'm ashamed to say I've never heard of him. Who is he? Where does he come from? Wu Qinkyu asked. Long Jiu shook his head. I don't know. He just dropped that full of smiles, so I always thought it was a joke. Now that you're asking about his master, it feels like it might be true. Overlord Nine Serenities. Wu Qinkyu's eyes shone. Who is he? No one in the entire world with any amount of name to himself or power knows such a person. Do any of you know? Wu Qinkyu turned to the rest, only to see them stumped. Wu Qinkyu frowned. He came to know more about Zhuo Fan and got a clue, only to have more questions left unanswered. Overlord Nine Serenities, what the hell is that anyway? Sounds as grand as the best in the central area, invincible sword, but never heard of him. Yilin played dumb while his senior brother was getting nowhere. Why don't you go ask Devil Mountain? A girl spoke. Wu Qinkyu's team turned to Lei Yuding, Luo clan's Shadow Corps captain. Lei Yuding continued. When the Luo clan was stationed in Blackwind Mountain, Zhuo Fan took me to set up the arrays around it. I overheard him say something about creating a second Devil Mountain here. Maybe that's where his master is. Wu Qinkyu had found a direction at long last, though his hopeful look was met with equally lost gazes. Wu Qinkyu's face twitched. No point asking about Devil Mountain then. Where the hell is that even? The more we dig, the more secretive Zhuo Fan's background is. All I got for my questions are more questions. Where should they go next? Wu Qinkyu sighed. Brother Zhuo, did you really pop out of thin air? Why can't we find anything about you? With his hair billowing in the wind, a tall and bright man stood on a tall peak, looking free and easy. This made the deep sigh that came after from this eminent middle-aged man as he watched the sky uncharacteristic. Whoosh, 3 people suddenly landed in front of him and bowed. Elder Du, have you learned anything from your investigation in Tianyu? Elder Du looked at them and asked, is the destruction of the beast-taming sect, demon scheming sect, and mystical heaven sect related to Zhuo Fan? Or did someone else have a hand in it? The trio shook their heads with a sigh. Elder Du was confused. Was that a tough question? If Zhuo Fan has a strong force behind him, we'd continue our investigation in this direction. If not, that leaves our revenge, and we can focus on the powers coming into Western lands. This may very well be the first time Western lands has been assaulted and requires the Exalted's full attention in looking into the 3 areas. Once again, people are suffering. Elder Du gave a bemoaning sigh while the trio hung their heads with heavy looks. Elder Du was curious. What's wrong with you? Just what did you find? Elder Du, we have found something about Zhuo Fan's background, although Wu Qinkyu hesitated. Luo clan, his home in Tianyu, has now gathered many clans and formed the Luo alliance. Their growth is swift, beyond anything a small nation could become. It's steadily heading towards becoming a top empire. Elder Du cut him off impatiently. I know of Luo alliance. No matter how fast it grows, it's nowhere near capable of destroying even the weakest sect of Western lands, especially not without some noise. Only an absolute power can pull it off. They are way behind. They may have the motive, but since they lack the power, they've been ruled out. Now, is there any other power? Well, there might possibly be just one. The trio exchanged looks and Wu Qinkyu hesitated. Elder Du found it strange. Wu Qinkyu, you're always calm and collected about everything, so why are you dawdling? Speak up, what did you find? Elder Du, have you heard of Devil Mountain or Overlord Nine Serenities? Wu Qinkyu probed. Elder Du asked, where is that supposed to be? Who's Overlord Nine Serenities? I just knew Sir hadn't heard of them either. You think I'd know every damn name in the vast Western lands? You think I have time to learn some nobody's name? Elder Du huffed. Wu Qinkyu sighed, if only he were a nobody. The master of Double Dragon Gathering's best disciple, Zhuo Fan, is Overlord Nine Serenities from Devil Mountain. Being the master of the future best in Western lands can't be said to be a nobody in some way. You're saying he taught Zhuo Fan? Elder Du turned solemn. Since Zhuo Fan had always been showing remarkable and bizarre skills, some of the likes Western lands has never seen, then the master has to be just as monstrous. But the name and location, Elder Du frowned while the trio waited for him to come up with a response. As he was racking his brain, an elder and 3 familiar figures came over, Yan Mo, Wen Tao, and Zai Tiansheng. Double Dragon Manor had formed 3 investigation teams. Chu Qingcheng's went to Tianyu to look into Zhuo Fan's Avenger, while Yan Mo's checked out Beast Taming Sect's side in Quanrong. The Beast Taming Sect was the only one unrelated to Zhuo Fan. If the investigation in Tianyu reached a dead end, at least over there could offer some clues. But by the looks of them, it was plain to see nothing came of it. For God's sake, what kind of ridiculous power did the attackers on the Beast Taming Sect have? It's too crafty. There's not a trace left in the Beast Taming Sect, with the entire Quanrong being clueless as well. The imperial capital had lost a large part of imperial members overnight, yet none was the wiser. This definitely stinks. The fat elder shook his head while whining about his lack of results. Chu Qingcheng bowed, greetings, Elder O. It's fine, so damn annoying. Elder O waved her off while still whining. Yanmo sighed. What a waste of time. The culprit left not one damn thing behind, none. I'm really starting to think a Western Lands outsider did this. Wu Qinkyu frowned. Besides outside influence, the only viable suspect would be Zhuo Fan's avenger, though his investigation had hit a snag. Alas, they had let the clues slip right through their fingers. Zhuo Fan had wiped beast-taming sect and demon-scheming sect from this world, down to the last soul while none saw him, though he did leave a trail in Quanrong's imperial capital. They just had to look closer, and they'd have caught a glimpse of Zhuo Fan's ghost appearing among mortals, though the Quanrong emperor censored anything related to him in the imperial capital right after. He didn't fear Zhuo Fan being found out, but that the destruction of the beast-taming sect had something to do with his clan, earning the ire of beast-taming sect's elders. It was best keeping a scandal in the family, or they might even be overthrown if word got out they were involved. Quanrong emperor covered for Zhuo Fan, but more for his scandal since there was common interest. With all of Quanrong tight-lipped, Yan Mo's team had no success. Old Du, what are you mumbling about? Can't I even get a hello? Elder O saw Elder Du pensive and found it odd. Elder Du said, Old O, ever heard of Devil Mountain or an expert calling himself Overlord Nine Serenities in all your years roaming the Western Lands? Where did you hear that taunting title? Elder O asked. Anyone calling himself Overlord Nine Serenities is asking for it. He'd be thrashed the minute one was foolish enough to utter it. Only that invincible sword dares call himself like that, though no one in all the lands could beat him. This Overlord Nine Serenities sounds just about the same. But that would mean peak Genesis stage. Elder Du shook his head. Right, if Overlord Nine Serenities is so powerful, he'll be a calamity upon Western lands. We can't go looking into this case any longer. We best stay far away from it instead. Who is Overlord Nine Serenities anyway? Did you piss him off? Seeing Elder Du so helpless, Elder O asked. Elder Du was vague. I know not how he looks or his cultivation, so how could I piss him off? Demon scheming sect and the rest probably did though to earn their destruction. They say he's Zhuo Fan's master. What? Elder O cried out. You're telling me that his master destroyed sects out of revenge for his disciple. Just who is Overlord Nine Serenities? How strong is he? I don't recall any in Western, the whole world bearing that title. Elder Du sighed. I know that, but to call himself such, he can't be a pushover. You said it yourself. To use such a taunting title, he had to be able to back it up. What's most important is that he's Zhuo Fan's master. With the disciple such a monster, what would that make the master? This clears things up. Elder O spoke firmly. This is a classic case of revenge by annihilating sects. Demon scheming sect and mystical heaven sect are done for, which means the next is heaven trailing sect, everyone cried out. But heaven trailing sect isn't a lower three sect like the others. It has a dozen soul harmony experts and the renowned heaven trailing sword with his heaven reaching sword protecting it. Taking it out will be harder, Elder Du analyzed. The others nodded with Elder O looking tense. However, if that Overlord Nine Serenities is in Genesis stage as we surmised, Elder Du's heart sank and his face was hard. Shui Ruohua's team, led by her elder, rushed over, shouting, This is bad. We went to check Heaven Trailing Sect only to find that the entire sect is destroyed just like the others. What? Sect's destruction, the three teams now trailed the sunny skies at full speed to reach Universal Righteous Sect. Old Du, if Overlord Nine Serenities wants revenge, then the next target is definitely the Universal Righteous Sect, Elder O said as the two flew shoulder to shoulder. Elder Du nodded with a frown. Wu Qinkyu spoke up at this point. Universal Righteous Sect is a superior 3 sect, with many Genesis stage cultivators, not like the previous 2 categories. I just can't see how it's possible for it to end up the same as the others. Child, you're too young, having yet to witness true experts. Elder O sighed. You must have heard by now of Danking Shen trampling on the 10 sects. Did you think he wasn't strong enough to destroy one, even a superior 3 sect? Humph, it was Western Lands rules that stopped him. He's part of Western Lands after all. But this Overlord Nine Serenities is ready to kill down to the last soul to take revenge for his disciple. Coupled with Danking Shen's strength, then a puny Universal Righteous Sect stands no chance at all. In front of true and ultimate power, a sect is nothing more than a house of cards, left to be stomped under his foot at his whim. Elder O's eyes flashed with a deep look, fearful of such display of raw force. Wu Qinkyu shuddered and nodded. Yanmo mocked, Elder O, since he's so mighty with even a superior 3 sect worthless, won't that makes us small fries? No. As we represent Double Dragon Manor, someone with the authority to move all of Western Land's forces. Elder Du's eyes flashed. As long as he's not dead set on it, we can leverage our names to talk it out. Not just anyone is willing to become a public enemy of the entire Western Lands. Not even Danking Shen of old. And if he is dead set on revenge, well, Yanmo asked, to which Elder Du sighed, then it'll be a second invincible sword. Invincible sword, yes, going by his rumored strength, he alone has the capacity to fight an area's entire force. Elder Du spoke heavily. Only with the alliance made up of the other 4 areas could we stop his advance. However, now he has reached peak Genesis stage, from which he can't advance an inch. If there was a stage beyond Genesis stage, he'd have achieved it with his talent, becoming the undisputed strongest man in the world. His invincible title is warranted. The others grew tense at the revelation. Yilin's eyes flickered with the flames of battle. The only reason Invincible Sword was stuck at that level was because the mortal domain had a limit imposed on it. Though how did he train to reach such great power then? I wonder who'd win if I'd reached Genesis stage, a sacred beast inheritor or a mere human. The thirst for battle thrummed in Yilin's heart, surging like a volcano. Look, we're almost at the universal righteous sect. Elder Du pointed in the distance at a verdant forest. Let's hurry up. Boom. An explosion of fire like no other erupted and drowned his words. The golden inferno rose beyond the clouds like it had swallowed the heavens. The heatwave came next, slamming into them like a hammer. The 3 elders cried out, "Protect the disciples." The elders unleashed their yuan qi, and with the world's power they formed a shield in front. It proved to be of no use, as a shockwave came and blew it to pieces. It attacked the elders and forced them to spew blood before sending them flying. The next were the disciples, faring no better, spilling blood from their mouths and falling unconscious. An hour had to pass for them to come to, but what they were seeing was nothing their tiny minds could prepare them of the devastation. For thousands upon thousands of miles, not a blade of grass grew. Any sign to indicate a lush and verdant forest once grew here was now gone, replaced by ashes and burning soot. PFF, Elder Du spat blood once more. W, what the hell is this? WI is. There's nothing left. We must have arrived just as the explosion happened. But for even we in the Genesis stage to suffer such heavy wounds, I can only dread what power it has at its epicenter. Elder O got up on shaky legs, his words waking everyone up. Right, the universal righteous sect was just there. Then, looking ahead, all they saw were golden flames billowing higher and higher. Its searing hit burning on their skin, so strong it evaporated the blood they just spilled. It worked on their bodies as well, baking them alive and drying them up in just 15 minutes. Chu Qingcheng found this view eerily familiar, her eyes filled with tears as she muttered, Zhuo Fan. What? The elders jerked. Qingcheng, what are you saying? Chu Qingcheng sobbed. On the day of Zhuo Fan's death, the same inferno happened, spreading for 500 miles, taking even his body. This fire may be much stronger, but I'll never forget such flames. The elders looked at each other in realization. Junior brother, this fire feels similar to yours, Wu Qingqiu asked Yilin. Rolling his eyes, Yilin huffed, Senior brother, are you mocking me? This is far more powerful and concentrated. If I had this in the double dragon gathering, I wouldn't have lost. Really? Wu Qingqiu eyed him, still suspicious. Yilin was faking it on purpose. Of all the natural golden flames in the world, he knew only one that held such unbridled power, decimating dragon ancestors, decimating golden flame. As to how it ended up here, he was positive Zhuo Fan got a dragon breath pill from the dragon ancestor. Elder brother, what a waste of a dragon breath pill to use it here. He knew the dragon breath pill Zhuo Fan got was a sacred beast's strongest attack. That thing he used was a mere toy. Throwing such a dragon breath pill around the mortal domain was like burning ants and utter waste. Yilin sighed inside. That's supposed to be used to save yourself, not get revenge. Let's see what exactly happened. The elders nodded with grave looks. They all knew the universal righteous sect had been wiped out, but an investigation still had to take place. The 3 elders carried their damaged bodies as they led the disciples towards the inferno. Zhuo Fan was walking away from the blaze in a black robe and with a smile on his face. Ha ha ha, dragon breath pill is the best. I just poke a hole in the sect barrier, then threw it in. No matter how many Genesis stage and Soul Harmony stage experts it has, they're all toast. This had to be the easiest revenge yet for Zhuo Fan. He didn't have to waste time and sully his eyes with their presence, just throw something in and send them to their maker. Worthy of dragon ancestors' true power. Though seeing such destruction, Zhuo Fan found it unbearable, not remorse for anybody, but that the dragon breath pill was such a waste here. Though he used it in the end, wiping any sign of life from every corner. Humming a tune, Zhuo Fan walked on, but then he frowned as he looked further ahead. Someone's coming, whether friend or foe, an away team or a fugitive, I'll know once I'll look. Zhuo Fan's right eye flashed in 6 golden halos. Divine Eye of the Void 6th stage, Void Domain. The air rippled under his power, forming a barrier. Zhuo Fan entered it and vanished from the world. All he left behind was a world of flames. Whoosh, the blistering heat coming off the golden inferno burned anything and warped the air. Chu Qingcheng and the other teams from Double Dragon Manor soon arrived. where no living being could survive. Even the Genesis stage elders were feeling the hot air burning their throats, to say nothing of the disciples. They all looked pained and panting for breath, like staying here any longer would directly sap their life. For God's sake. How can a human do this? Everywhere they looked, all they saw was golden flames and even more golden flames. Elder Du's face watched in shock. The Superior Three sect, Universal Righteous sect, had been destroyed in a flash. Is this the power of Devil Mountain's Overlord Nine Serenities? Overlord Nine Serenities and Devil Mountain. Zhuo Fan, in his little hidey hole, had his heart jump at that name. How did they come to know that? Soon he figured they must have looked into Tianyu. Double Dragon Manor started investigating the destruction of Western Land sects. Great, pinning it all on the fake Overlord Nine Serenities should buy some time before Double Dragon Manor gets to the real answer. Who knew the little joke he pulled ages ago in Tianyu would be so useful? If Double Dragon Manor had kept investigating, they'd soon catch up to him, and that wouldn't do. While he feared no one, he wasn't looking for trouble either, and getting chased to death all the time wasn't a good thing. Obliterating 4 sects of Western lands was a heavy crime from which he could never escape. Did Overlord Nine Serenities do this? Elder O looked around in shock. There's just no way, no person could have such power. I bet not even the world's strongest, invincible sword could pull this off. You mean, something stinks around here? Elder O's eyes flashed at Elder Du's words. This can't be done by just one man. There has to be another explanation we've yet to figure out. Maybe something volatile was happening beneath Universal Righteous sect that he made use of to do this. Why else then, of all the other sects, only the Universal Righteous sect ended up like this? In any case, I refuse to believe that a cultivator could be so strong. His analysis earned the nods of others. Of course, if he's so powerful, what's the point of investigating anyway, since they'd end up killed all the same? If not, the whole Western lands would fall. But if it were like Elder O said, using the Earth's unstable power to create such a disaster, then he wouldn't be as strong. We could fight him, Zhuo Fan nodded inside. At least there's someone in the team that can use his head. Yes, there's no one in mortal domain capable of such might. As this was the strongest attack of a sacred beast from sacred domain that none in the mortal domain had ever heard of, coming to the conclusion the power of the Earth was borrowed instead was not a bad logic. This, however, meant the team would keep going and affect Zhuo Fan in turn. Yilin was well aware, though clueless how to ease this problem. Elder O, maybe Overlord Nine Serenities didn't do this by himself, but the entire Devil Mountain perhaps. Do you think by finding this sect can Western lands fight it? The elders shook and grew tense. Right, a guy doesn't have the power, but if Devil Mountain was packed with experts, then anyone could resort to such cruelty. This proves their sect is stronger than Western lands. There was no point in looking further into it when they couldn't even beat it. Impossible. Elder O spoke with determination among the hesitant looks. Kid, look closely at this catastrophe. Could all the power of the world gathered together recreate it? That's why only the world's power can be the culprit and not a man's. I still believe Overlord Nine Serenities used this method to shake us, a mere bluff. Also, we would mistake his level and drop the investigation. This only proves he hasn't that kind of power Western lands should fear. How else would you explain his secretive actions, vanishing after ruining every sect? Even as we came here, we saw no sign of anyone around, clearly done to cover his tracks. Elder O sputtered on in a loud tone, finding his logic even more sound. It even sounded smug for being so smart. The others nodded their heads. When did the old Coots melon get so sharp? Even Zhuo Fan had to give him credit. He might believe the old guy's logic if he hadn't done this himself. Only Yilin was not about to let it go, sighing, what if going after Overlord Nine Serenities is us playing with fire? When we face him, what then? There's no what if. I don't believe anyone is almighty unless I see him for myself. Like hell, he's even more unstoppable than that invincible sword. Elder O flicked his hand, looking smug and convinced, buying into his own excuse. The others nodded, finding the logic sound and continuing the investigation. Zhuo Fan chuckled with a shake of his head. Having ruined 4 sects in Western lands, it was safe to say, the sooner he left here, the better. Zhuo Fan gave one pair of eyes, with the golden inferno reflected within, one last look, finding it hard to look away. We won't be seeing again, King Cheng. SSS as thunder exploded, he saw sparked lighting flashing between his hands. Startled, Zhuo Fan watched the thunder ring flicker to life. Chu King Cheng's own ring reacted the same. Zhuo Fan looked at the 2 rings in shock. How? This space is cut off from reality, so how are the thunder rings reacting? As this ring had been with its master for so long, it molded to his true nature. The yearning Zhuo Fan and Chu King Cheng had for each other triggered the rings, breaching the confines of this space. Zhuo Fan. Chu Qingcheng looked at the thunder ring in shock, her eyes tearing up as she cried out and searched everywhere. Zhuo Fan, you're not dead. You're here, aren't you? Zhuo Fan ain't dead. The elders turned to her. Qingcheng, what are you saying? How do you know that? Chu Qingcheng only cried out Zhuo Fan's name, her eyes filled with hope. She knew that only his thunder ring could connect with hers. These rings were their oaths. Junior sister Qingcheng, maybe you just think you saw him from how much you long for him. Zhuo Fan is dead, so how can he be here? Yilin started. If they find elder brother, then he'll become Western Land's enemy. While shouting, he rushed to Chu Qingcheng, holding her hand in the ring, hiding its luster. Chu Qingcheng only knew him and Zhuo Fan as enemies, and that didn't change. His sudden action earned her hatred. Beat it. I know you only see Zhuo Fan as your enemy and can't wait for him to die. But he's still alive and he's here. Zhuo Fan, it's me, Qingcheng, come out. Yilin shrugged, his kindness scorned. What good will it do calling him out? You're just letting Western Lands hound him. This chick has lost it, thinking my gesture was out of ill will. If only you weren't sister-in-law. Yilin gnashed his teeth. Use your souls to scan the area. The elders immediately started looking around for any signs, but all they sensed was the searing heat. The three elders shook their heads, sighing at Chu Qingcheng's frantic cries. Is this how an excellent disciple fell into darkness by the loss of her husband? Qingcheng, don't do this. Zhuo Fan's gone, he's not here. Chu Qingcheng was frantic in her search and cried even as Shui Ruohua and Danner hugged her, tearing up at her pain. The others shook their heads. This is called being obsessed. Chu Qingcheng did not listen to reason, shaking her head and pointing at the flashing ring with joy. Senior sister, he's still alive and here too. Just look, only we have this pair of rings and they only react when the other is around. This is his keepsake, he's definitely here. Chu Qingcheng was desperate in convincing everyone of this reality, but they only saw it as her lying to herself, wanting to believe with every fiber that Zhuo Fan was in this world. Qingcheng, I may not know that ring, but we have scanned this place for 100 miles around, yet there's no one here but us. Elder Du soothed. Chu Qingcheng bit her lip, not giving up. No, he's close by. It's just that you can't find him. No one can find him with his skills. Only I, as his wife, know in my being that he is here. That's enough, Chu Qingcheng. Elder O shouted in anger, a vein popping on his forehead. We're Genesis stage experts, yet you're saying we can't even find some brat. We can find something as small as an ant, let alone him. Since we did not find him, then he isn't here. How long are you going to continue this crazy act? Glaring at him, Chu Qingcheng still called out Zhuo Fan's name. Zhuo Fan, it's me, your wife. Please come to me, don't just stand there, take her away. Elder O's patience was at an end as he stared at Wu Qinkyu. Bobbing his head, he went to Chu Qingcheng with a sigh. Junior sister Qingcheng, there's something off about the ring, I'm sure of it. Zhuo Fan is gone now and there's no way he can be here. Let's just get you back to Double Dragon Manor and get some rest. No, the ring never lied to me. He's here, struggling with all she had. Chu Qingcheng kept crying out, Zhuo Fan. In his sealed space, Zhuo Fan gnashed his teeth and shut his eyes, even though tears gathered at the corners. He knew he shouldn't have met her because he could not take the parting. Qingcheng. The heart prevailed in the end and Zhuo Fan spoke in a low tone. All shuddered at the heavy tone, unable to overcome their shock. Chu Qingcheng was overjoyed. Zhuo Fan, is it really you? I knew you're alive. Is Zhuo Fan actually alive? The elders looked around frantically. With him alive, the case of the sex destruction has a solution. Yet no amount of searching helped. A laughter came then, ha ha ha, 3 imps trying to scan with your souls in face of yours truly? How pitiful. With a whoosh, black thunderflame erupted from that space, as high as a kilometer and spreading for miles and miles. The black thunderflame took the shape of a giant with golden eyes, the flame within like 2 erupting volcanoes. The sheer dread coming off him slammed into the 3 Genesis stage elders. They shuddered and felt like mere insects that could be stomped at any time. This. All craned their necks to watch the black fire giant, feeling their knees going soft at its power. Yilin fared no better despite knowing the truth behind it. He gulped. What is this? Did the 9 Serenities sovereign descend? This power was at the level of his master and only the 10 sovereigns wielded it. Everyone knows 9 Serenities sovereign is missing, so how can he suddenly be in the mortal domain? Yilin was too shocked to make any sense of it. When a sacred beast inheritor was scared, much couldn't be said about the rest, looking white as paper and gasping for breath. The 3 Genesis stage elders were overcome with fear, looking at the huge face gazing at them with scorn. Ha ha ha, weren't you great before, you weaklings? Did the cat get your tongue? Senior. Elder Du's shaky voice barely got a word out as he bowed. May I know who Senior is? The 2 golden balls of fire flashed as he cackled. Ha ha ha, mistaking respect for fear. I've heard this saying many times, but weren't you 3 pipsqueaks shouting about wanting to see me? You won't believe it until you see it, right? Well, here I am, do you believe it now? Overlord 9 Serenities? SSS, the elders gasped in shock. Elder O, who had analyzed Overlord 9 Serenities' power, just now almost soiled his pants. The sheer power rolling off this giant was enough to rob them of all of their courage. They knew now universal righteous sect's demise wasn't made by borrowing power, but by unquestionable might. Overlord Nine Serenities had never been seen before, but now they felt it all too well, the destructive power he wielded. The trio fell to their knees on the spot. "Senior, please forgive our foolish words of ignorance." "Ha ha ha, brats, do you take me for someone as petty as you?" the black giant mocked. "The Missy has gone against your words and contradicted you, yet you wanted to attack a helpless woman. Humph, who knows how pissed off I'd be over the last 300 millennium if I were as petty as you." SSS gasping for the third time, they all looked in shock. Oh hell, 300 damn thousand years, what the hell is he? Even the oldest sect in Western lands is barely 10,000 years old, but this guy is 300 times that. For crying out loud, he's an old freak through and through. What invincible sword, he's nothing to this guy. No wonder he's so amazing and overpowered. Wonder what stage he's at, definitely above Genesis stage. The trio broke out in sweat, scared to death from even moving. Ignoring them, the black giant stared down at Chu Qingcheng with a sigh. He waved and a flickering ring floated down. "Qingcheng, may I call you that? Is this what you were looking for?" The ring rested in Chu Qingcheng's palm, staring at the keepsake belonging to Zhuo Fan. "This is Zhuo Fan's." Chu Qingcheng looked at the giant, wanting to ask more but too afraid to know the truth. The giant spoke. "Child, forget about him. He won't be coming back." Chu Qingcheng's fists shook. "I had founded Devil Mountain 300,000 years ago when no one could stand up to me." Recalling ancient memories, the black giant spoke. "But after 200,000 years, I grew tired, focusing on understanding Tao and entered seclusion, vanishing from the world. As it happened, in my rare travels in between across the world, I have met with disciples worthy of note. Zhuo Fan is one such disciple. To understand Tao, one must live in the world, then rise above it. Most disciples do not roam the lands, but Zhuo Fan was still young, and so I let him go before taking him back to dwell on the experiences. I thought the skills I passed on to him were enough to safeguard him. But never have I imagined he'd be tricked by some rotten people. This is life, this is fate." The black giant sighed in mourning. The elders broke out in sweat. "It's obvious now that it was revenge, but it's not like we can do anything to him either. Did you hear him? He was already at the top of the world 300,000 years ago, stopping all infighting before withdrawing. He's on a different level than our petty wars. All of Western land's power won't be enough to even scratch him, not to mention Devil Mountain isn't made up of one man. There's still plenty of disciples. If they come out, what would happen to the world?" The elders were scared to death. Looking into this case any further would poke the hornet's nest. Not even the invincible sword would be so stupid. "But Senior, I've seen the same fire when Zhuo Fan died that I see today. Was that Senior as well?" Unafraid of this giant's power, Chu Qingcheng looked up with hope. The golden balls of fire flashed. "Yes, that was me snapping my fingers." "Well, crud, if just snapping your fingers turned 500 miles into a wasteland, then the old guy must be beyond almighty." The elder's heart jerked. Yilin barely held himself from lashing out. He knew what happened the best, since that was actually his doing. The fact that this black guy took credit for it proved. This is no Nine Serenities sovereign, but Zhuo Fan's high-class act. How did he make it so real, though? He's even got 3 Genesis stage elders shaking in their boots. Glancing at the said elders, Yilin snickered and sighed. Then Zhuo Fan, Chu Qingcheng was still hopeful. "The giant was blunt, is dead." "Dead." Chu Qingcheng recoiled from shock, paling. Zhuo Fan was in pain seeing his lover showing such utter despair. His nails drew blood as they dug into his palms, but his voice was firm. "When I arrived, Zhuo Fan's soul was gone, his body mauled. In my rage, I removed everyone, down to the last man. I then took his body to bury him on Devil Mountain before coming to handle any resentments. Some puny sects of Western lands showed some truly outrageous nerve to kill Devil Mountain's disciple, Humph. It's all thanks to my insights in Tao that tempered my spirit, or else the whole of Western lands would have burned." The elders hung their sweaty heads, fear already prevalent in their terrorized hearts. Holy hell. The 4 sects had poked a god this time. Only fortune has it that his temper got milder, and he did not drag down the rest of Western lands with them. They could practically imagine him changing the world's landscape 300,000 years ago like it was nothing. Good the 4 are done with, lest they troubled Western lands further. The elders instantly switched tunes, no longer looking into the unfortunate loss of 4 sects, but actually cursing them for asking for it and getting what they deserved. "You'd be better off messing with the invincible sword than this old freak. Does that mean he's truly dead?" Not registering all of his words, Chu Qingcheng gazed with dead eyes before slumping. Shui Ruohua rushed over. "Qingcheng, what's wrong?" Zhuo Fan wanted to go as well, to hold his wife, but he reined in his impulse, lowering his hand and shaking his head. His heart was bleeding, but he found no other solution, not when his enemy was just too strong. It was tantamount to suicide, with no idea when he'd appear. He didn't want to drag her into this and chose to cut off this cherished marriage he had barely formed. Hum the thunder ring in Chu Qingcheng's hand vanished and appeared before the giant's face. Listen up, you brats, Qingcheng is my disciple's wife and now a part of Devil Mountain. The black giant looked at Chu Qingcheng. Tell her when she wakes up that all of Devil Mountain will recognize her ring. To stay calm in the face of trouble, for it will flicker and shine with new hope. The giant vanished then, along with his power. Looking at the remaining inferno around them, the elders stood up at last, only to slump back down, gasping and lamenting their fate. Old Du, that was scary as hell. That freak, Senior felt worse than when meeting the Exalted. You think, I bet not even facing Invincible Sword would get such a reaction out of me like that. Senior, his dreaded aura was just terrifying. Yeah. The trio felt like they went through hell, now fortunate they came out alive. Then they looked at Chu Qingcheng. Hurry and take her to the sect. Elder O, junior sister Qingcheng has fainted from heartache. We can't disturb her, yet Sir wants to return. Wu Qinkyu sighed. Elder O sputtered, cut the crap. Who said anything about dragging her back? I'm telling you to carry this lady carefully and tend to her health. She has to recover. Everyone made weird faces. What's with the elder's mood flipping like that? 1 minute he snapped when Chu Qingcheng contradicted him, and now Elder O rolled his eyes. Are you fools or what? Didn't you hear Senior? Chu Qingcheng is seen as his disciple's wife and now under Devil Mountain's protection. If anything happens to her while in Double Dragon Manor, then the Senior will take it out on us. On the other hand, with the Senior backing us, not even Invincible Sword will sound scary. That makes the young lady the brightest gem we have that we must nurture. Elder O was firm, with the other elders nodding. Now they understood and agreed with him. These elders are damn practical at least. Yilin realized why Zhuo Fan assumed the role of Overlord Nine Serenities to protect Chu Qingcheng. He witnessed Chu Qingcheng going against the elder, and while not able to defend her in person, he used Overlord Nine Serenities to give a pretentious speech and raise her value in the elder's eyes. It was the same as looking after her while being worlds apart. He figured that no matter what danger might befall Western lands, none would touch Chu Qingcheng. Yilin sighed and said, Elder, the case of the four sects' destruction now has a resolution. But there's still one problem. Overlord Nine Serenities has taken revenge for his disciple, but what about Beast Taming Sect? Let's just lump it in as well. Elder Du waved. Senior had us so scared there's no way we'll still be looking into Beast Taming Sect. Since it and Zhuo Fan have grudges, we'll say it's the master looking out for his disciple since we can't look into it now. That settles it. Yilin nodded, grinning inside. That'll be a perfect closure. They took the unconscious Chu Qingcheng and left the area, with the elders taking the lead, not wanting to stay a moment longer. After they were gone, Zhuo Fan came out of his space with a pained look. It was his last goodbye to Chu Qingcheng. Elder brother, that was one high-class act. You got us soiling ourselves from fear. I even thought Nine Serenities' sovereign was here. Zhuo Fan frowned and turned to see Yilin coming back. Zhuo Fan asked, why are you here? There's still some things I don't get. I had left with the old coots then, but I have come back for elder brother's wisdom. Yilin bowed. Zhuo Fan walked away. Don't feel like it. How cold after bringing sister-in-law so you could see her one last time before leaving Western lands. Zhuo Fan paused and sighed. What is it then? Just how did you turn into a demon emperor and even got those 3 Genesis stage experts scared to death? Yilin beamed. Zhuo Fan spoke easy, a grain of truth in a sea of lies. The figure was an illusion I made, but it's not enough to scare those 3 by itself. But since they were wounded and weaker, they couldn't sense properly. Also, the black giant contained a trace of the destructive thunderflame, but what sold it was the eyes, the remaining 2 dragon breath pills. Those held the power of dragon ancestor, of unquestionable power. This way, truth mixed with lies to make the fear they felt undoubtedly real. Amazing, you're one shrewd guy to not only defeat me but achieve this as well. Yilin gave a thumbs up. Ignoring him, Zhuo Fan left but paused again soon after. I'm leaving Western lands. Make sure that in the Double Dragon Manor, Qingcheng. Don't worry, with me around, sister-in-law will be safe, Yilin declared. Zhuo Fan grinned and vanished from the lit-up night by the blazing inferno. Serenities was at least 300 meters tall, reaching the heavens and stepping on the earth, even without being able to see him fully. He was covered in black flames as they swallowed the skies, his eyes burning like the midday sun, around 10 meters big and unleashing a terrible light. In the heaven-reaching pavilion of the Double Dragon Manor, the 3 elders returned with their teams of disciples to report, now kneeling before the exalted double dragons. The fear had yet to recede from their features ever since that encounter. The exalted looked at them, then at each other with dumb looks. Exalted High Ran was astonished, finding it hard to speak. 300 meters tall, with eyes as big as 10 meters. You call that a man? The three elders recoiled and shook their heads. They saw this reaction coming, since not even they would believe an old monster like him would still be around without having borne witness. Exalted sir, we saw it with our own eyes. We'd never lie about this. Sirs can ask the kids too, they were there as well, under the expert's overbearing aura. Elder O sighed, we saw the universal righteous sect being razed to the ground, replaced by a scorching inferno. The senior's power is beyond anything we know, a true monster cultivating for 300,000 years. There may not even be anyone to challenge him in the world, not even invincible sword. However, Devil Mountain has secluded itself, with its disciples no longer roaming the lands. If such an ancient and outstanding sect would have stayed around, that invincible sword wouldn't even have had the chance to show himself. The exalted were skeptical still. This was a tough pill to swallow. How can the world hide such an overbearing existence? But seeing the group so flustered and honest, then recalling Zhuo Fan's obscene power, the one to teach him had to be a freak in itself. The exalted shared a nod, choosing to trust it somewhat. That Overlord Nine Serenities might not be such a literal giant, since there were skills to make one look big, though he had a giant's power to shake 3 Genesis stage experts like nothing. That made looking further into Devil Mountain's vendetta a complex issue now that was better put off. No one wanted to kick the hornet's nest. Exalted High Ran waved his hand. Since no other area is behind this incident, it shouldn't affect Western lands, so we'll let it go for now. With 5 sects gone, they were asking for it to be destroyed by messing with the wrong man. We don't need to stir it further and plunge Western lands into more mess either. Elder Do inform every sect of this, that it was not a conflict with another area. You're also to warn them to keep to themselves and not run amok. Who knows if there isn't a second Devil Mountain out there? Yes, sir, I'll be right on it. Elder Du bowed and withdrew. Exalted by May frowned, so the 5 sects killed themselves through their actions, but what are we to do now about the empty seats? With the Western lands so vast, with just 4 out of 9 remaining, it will leave a great vacuum across the board. It may even prove to be a weakness for others to exploit. Exalted High Ran sighed, we can't touch Devil Mountain, but now Western lands has suffered heavy losses, affecting its stability. The people below sighed as well. It wasn't as simple as having Western lands' power cut short with the loss of those sects, but also its control over it. This only grew worse since a Superior 3 sect and a Middle 3 sect were included. A Superior 3 sect didn't just have some mere venerables, but oversaw a large empire as well as dozens of other neighboring nations, watching them for any infiltration from other areas. While Heaven Trailing sect was the last Middle 3 sect, located around a third-rate empire like Tianyu, it still overlooked the dozens of other nations around. Adding to that was the Beast Taming sect being gone as well, leaving no one in the Quanrong Empire. At least a fifth of Western lands was now out of the 9 sects' control. It was a severe blow to Western land stability. Western land sects didn't just share control, but also danger. The chances were high that the central area might take advantage of this breach, crushing Western land's force like nothing as it invaded. This was the Exalted's greatest fear. Elder O pondered before speaking, Exalted sirs, this land might be empty, but not that big, with only universal righteous sects territory on the large side. Why don't we just split it among the other 4 sects? Absolutely not, Exalted High Ran shot it down. The domain of every sect is based on strength, on what they can take. Not having the strength aside, the sheer manpower required to be sent will be too much to get all that land under control. Don't forget the demon scheming sect's lesson. There's no harm in speaking. Exalted High Ran urged. Wu Kinkyu began. The 9 sects overlook their own domain, safeguarding Western lands. This makes it so only those people of every sect know their domains the best. Calling them local thugs isn't wrong in this sense. The Exalted looked at him hard. Exalted sirs, since 5 thugs died, rather than take one from the other 5, it's better if we pick a new thug from the empty places to defend Western lands. You mean? The Exalted heard Wu Kinkyu's proposal and spoke at the same time. Foster a new power to make up for the empty 5 sects. Wu Kinkyu nodded. But what group in the secular world has what it takes to take on the duty of a sect? Exalted, I know of one that can take such a burden. Wu Kinkyu's eyes shone with determination. In our journey to Tianyu Empire, I discovered the Luo Alliance, filled with capable people, experiencing swift growth and looking out for others. Among their men, there are also experts from the demon scheming sect that the Alliance took in. With Double Dragon Manor's assistance, they are certain to grow even faster to support Western lands' peace. Exalted High Ran's brow shook, then looked at the rest. What do you think? Agreed, agreed, agreed. Yi Lin, Yanmo, Wen Tao, and the other disciples spoke together. The Exalted were curious about this. What's their connection to Luo Alliance to side with it? Then again, since the Luo Alliance could gain such outstanding geniuses' favor, it shows it's capable. Exalted High Ran turned to Elder O. Look into it, see if they are worthy and help them. This shall be Western Land's fortune. Yes, sir. Elder O bowed and carried the order. The meeting went through some minor matters before ending. Wu Kinkyu and the disciple flew for a waterfall when he smiled. Having secured the Luo clan a seat among the sects, Brother Zhuo's spirit should be pleased in heaven. I don't know about that, just that I can't let my rival down. Yanmo sighed and shook his head. Let's tell Chu Qingcheng the news as well. It should help her ease her sadness. Hard to tell. She doesn't look like the type to chase glory. Yi Lin sighed. Yanmo smirked. Hey, Chu Qingcheng doesn't like you much, so what are you doing coming as well? Her not wanting to see me is one thing, and another for me to go to her. What's it to you anyway? Yi Lin huffed. Wu Kinkyu chuckled. Don't fight now, we're here. The group landed in an elegant yard around a clear pond. They were only greeted by Shui Ruohu and Danner, looking lost and scared. What's wrong? Wu Kinkyu rushed over and then froze. A graceful figure leaned on the bed with a heartbroken look, her silver hair fluttering in the breeze coming from the window. Shriek roar, the howls and cries of animals of all kinds shook the forest. The densest area in the Tianyu Empire, while also the most dangerous, was Albeast Mountain Range. Any average person setting foot in it was tantamount to suicide, with even the stronger ones not faring any better going deeper. Rumor had it that the range held some true supreme beasts that no cultivator could defeat or escape its claws. Over the ages, it gave this range the thickest air of mystery humanity had yet to unravel, even though people trekked it now and then. Or maybe there had been some, only to never escape its domain with the truth. Now though, a man in a black robe was walking casually deeper in, with only the spiritual beasts howling and growling as company. In the end, there were always some ignorant beasts baring their fangs and pouncing on the man's flesh. One got pretty close to him, but the spiritual beast's eyes blanked out, slumping dead. The man, though, went on without a care, his smile vile. The sudden weird intruder stirred up all the spiritual beasts in the Albeast Mountain Range. Some savage ones scrounged up their courage to challenge this interloper, only to fare no better than the first foolish creature. It went all the way to the 6th level spiritual beasts. Only after 3 7th grade spiritual beasts fell dead at his feet did the beasts of Albeast Mountain Range finally know fear and the demonic power of this man. As if on cue, the beasts scattered, the birds fled, leaving no one but the interloper in this wild environment. Finally, with no beast around to growl, the Albeast Mountain Range's true king descended. Who are you? How dare you venture deep into the Albeast Mountain Range? With a reverberating roar, the man looked up and the huge shadow bearing down on him. A 3-headed bird looked at him in fury. On its forehead was an azure flame flickering around. Snickering, the man said, 3-headed crow, it's been a while. You know me, the 3-headed crow started. The man in black lifted his head and showed his smile. Forgot me already. Remember when you took me and young Sanzi here to see Senior Kunpeng? Sir Zhuo. The 3-headed crow was stunned, then landed with a bow. Forgive me for not welcoming you, Sir Zhuo. You honor us with your presence. I only heard there was a human making a scene and was unaware it was you. Zhuo Fan waved him off. Ha ha ha, it's fine. I only came to see Kunpeng. Since you're here, take me there. Well, the 3-headed crow looked conflicted. Sir Zhuo, 1,000 pardons, but I need to inform Master first of your sudden arrival. Please wait here for a moment. No beast will harm you with the Master's azure flame protecting you. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, hearing the scorn. The 3-headed crow sounded respectful, but it was just veiled mockery. What he meant by Master's azure flame protecting you was in fact telling him he was nothing without it. How else would you have had an easy time coming here? You'd have long been a spiritual beast's meal by now. Don't get cocky, he's clearly mocking me for only coming here thanks to Kunpeng's power. He couldn't be more wrong. Zhuo Fan squinted. 3-headed crow, I've met Senior Kunpeng before, so why make it so hard? Just take me there, can't do. Albeast Mountain Range has rules. To see Master, all must be announced first. You can only see him with his permission. Master would otherwise punish me for bringing you unannounced. The 3 heads shook, his stance clear. Zhuo Fan sighed, that's such a waste, going back and forth when I'll meet the old guy anyway. How about this? You take me and I'll take full responsibility. Just say that I forced you. You, the 3-headed crow cracked up, his eyes shone with disdain. Please, and here I thought humans have brains. Why sound so dumb then? I'm a great 9th level spiritual beast and you think you can force me. You'd have a better chance with any other spiritual beast, thanks to the azure flame, but that treasure won't work on me. I have it as well, forcing me? What a joke, ha ha ha. It was plain to Zhuo Fan what he was thinking, so he smiled. while his left eye shone with the black thunderflame, unleashing its dreaded aura. Who, as if smacked by a mountain, the three-headed crow slammed into the ground, its azure flame flickering to stay alive before dying out. The 6 beady eyes widened in shock. The greatest gentle flame, chaos flame, belonging to the lord of the sacred beasts, the head of 5 great sacred beasts, was just destroyed. How? It was one of the 5 greatest powers born out of chaos, so how could it just cave? The three-headed crow refused to believe what happened, but looking back at the blackness burning in Zhuo Fan's eye made his heart shudder. It felt like staring death in the face. This human has the power to kill sacred beasts. The three-headed crow was smart enough to figure all that out instantly, its feathers standing on end, sweat trickling down. With a nasty snicker, Zhuo Fan stepped on the still shaking spine. Now you can raise your head high and declare to Kunpeng that I forced you. The heads shook in fear. This overlord of the all-beast mountain range in the 9th level was scared to death. Then let's go. Zhuo Fan's right eye closed and the aura faded. Without terror seeping into its bones, the three-headed crow slowly got its feet under him and took flight without a peep, spreading its 500-mile-long wings as he flew to Kunpeng. The man and beast arrived in 15 minutes, the familiar cave appearing in view, like a beast ready to swallow you whole. The three-headed crow landed next to it, since he couldn't just bring someone unannounced, having already defied his rules. Not like he had a choice, not when the human was stronger. The three-headed crow braced and shouted, "Master, Sir Zhou has come to see you. Dad's here." The first to shout was a cheerful youth, followed by a flash of red. Gu Santong shot out of the cave and into Zhuo Fan's arms. "Dad, you came at last." Zhuo Fan softened and smiled. "Young Sanzi, I didn't come just to see you. Your old man will always be by your side." "Really?" Gu Santong cheered. "Great, Dad will stay with me." "Awesome, Dad is." A bright laughter announced Kunpeng's buffed body coming out as well. "Ha ha ha, brat, are you so free to see me? You didn't even drop a hint you're coming. I'd have sent the crow to bring you. Thank you for that." Zhuo Fan nodded. Kunpeng sounded polite, but Zhuo Fan read in his eyes a grudge. What kind of king has people coming and going as they please? Santong in his arms and gently patted three-headed crow's warm plumage like a good pet he was. "Thanks for dropping me. You can go now." Kunpeng's smile crumbled as his face shook. His cold eyes stared straight at the crow with fury. Three-headed crow was Kunpeng's subordinate, his right hand, obvious by the chaos flame he loaned. As things stood now, even this trusted aide went against him, bringing an outsider without his approval. To top it off, he listened to another's orders. If that wasn't betrayal, what was? Zhuo Fan had done it to undermine his authority, to poach his aide. As the king of beasts, anger was a given. Alas, Zhuo Fan was a distant guest that had yet to push things too far, not enough to warrant conflict. The same couldn't be said about the three-headed crow. He directed killing intent towards the crow, releasing bloodlust. The three-headed crow shuddered, tearing up in fear as the 3 heads looked hurt. "Master, it's not me, he made me." Not like Kunpeng would believe him. His mind was set on dealing with the 3 heads and how he was going to vent. Senior Kunpeng, I've come too suddenly and I'm imposing on you. I had forced the 3-headed crow to take me before informing you. Do forgive me." Looking between one angry and one bitter face, Zhuo Fan chuckled and sighed. Speaking at the perfect moment, whether intentionally or not, Kunpeng was outraged, not bothering to mask it as he cursed inside. "He's under me and I can do what I want with him." "What are you doing helping him out?" Since he still had use for Zhuo Fan, he had to rein it in. He let out a long breath, pushing the anger down and speaking in a calm tone. Gu Santong got ahead of him though. "What's so bad about it? Dad's one of us. Wherever I am, it's Dad's home. No point of informing when he's just coming home anyway." "Right, uncle? Yeah, ha ha ha." Kunpeng turned to Gu Santong with a weird look, then let out a dry laugh. "Three-headed crow, listen here. Zhuo Fan is one of us, so he can come see me anytime." "Understood." Kunpeng's smile turned into gnashed teeth at the end, glaring at three-headed crow. Gu Santong was oblivious to the subtleties, taking it at face value. Kunpeng was just teaching his men to look after Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan knew how to read between the lines though, sour since his own man was listening to another's orders. Zhuo Fan shook his head. The 3-headed crow felt victim here, bobbing his heads. "Don't just stand there looking dumb, stand aside and wait for Zhuo Fan to leave." Glaring at him one last time, Kunpeng found 3-headed crow even more of an eyesore. 3-headed crow didn't make a peep, it just sat there at the side like a good subordinate. Gu Santong asked, "Uncle, you're looking mighty angry today, what's up?" Nothing, just a toothache." Kunpeng waved his hand, PFF. Zhuo Fan almost cracked up. "Toothache? You're a sacred beast for crying out loud, immune to cold weapons and the world's elements, yet you're telling me you got a toothache. Are you alluding to something here that maybe I pissed you off?" Gu Santong frowned. Even for him this reason was hard to accept, but he didn't push it. He returned to hugging Zhuo Fan's neck. "Uncle, you can just have the bird leave." He doesn't need to send him off because Dad said he'll always be by my side. He ain't leaving, hee hee hee. Oh, Ria, what? Kunpeng jerked around at Zhuo Fan and shouted, is young Sanzi right? You're staying as well. What about your affairs? What about mine? Aren't you sorting them out? Staring at his shocked face, Zhuo Fan smiled. Senior Kunpeng, before I answer, let me tell you my latest exploits. I've already completed half of your task. Not long ago, I met with the decimating dragon ancestor. Shuddering, Kunpeng looked amazed. What did he say? Everything, including the events ages ago, as well as my situation. Zhuo Fan smiled and then sighed. Kunpeng gasped and nodded, looking serious. Since you know everything, what will you do? What else is there but being on your side, hunted as I am as well? Zhuo Fan looked lonely. Kunpeng, thanks to Sir's aid, I have gone from nothing to having everything. Wife, son, friends, family. But it's also due to you that I had to cast them all out. I just don't know if I should hate you or thank you. Kunpeng eyed him coldly. When we met, you had nothing, and the same applies now. What changed? Ha ha ha. Anyway, to have everything, you need to keep your life and be the last victor. I'm not asking you to like me, nor to be grateful, because we're all in this together. Me and the other sacred beasts can't escape, and we'll need you to do some things for us. So when you said you wanted to find Heavenly Sovereign's remnant and get his inheritance, I knew you'd be one of us. Ha ha ha, just like I thought, you didn't let me down and survived Lightning Canyon, a true disciple of 9 serenities. Also, did that old fire dragon have a solution out of this? Zhuo Fan sighed and explained. Kunpeng lit up and nodded. I see, so the mortal domain has 8 large gaps, the whirlwind tunnel. Ha ha ha, the old fire dragon's cell has been thrown around yet still found such a secret to help us escape. Far better than me, stuck here in All Beast Mountain Range. Oh, since there are gaps in the mortal domain, then Heavenly Sovereign's divine eye of the void isn't perfect. If we unite, winning might very well be in sight. Boy, live on well, we'll just might make it in the end, ha ha ha. Patting Zhuo's shoulder, Kunpeng laughed like he was the winner. Zhuo Fan wasn't in the mood to join him. This was a grudge since ancient times, yet now he got dragged into this mess. He even had to forsake everything. Zhuo Fan's heart was in pain. He sighed and left with Gu Santong. Young Sanzi, you're coming with me now. We'll never separate again. Wait, where are you going? Kunpeng shouted. Zhuo Fan spoke. I need young Sanzi's help to deal with Dragon Ancestor's task. Since he's in this mess as well, I don't need to push him away. The task he gave you should be much easier with just you alone. If in trouble, you can always send me a message for help, so there's no need to take the child with you. It's better for him to stay here and learn from me. Maybe Kilin will be needed later for the 5 great sacred beasts to unite. Kunpeng squinted. Zhuo Fan sneered at his words. Teach. I know exactly how Sundering Thunder Phoenix died. I don't want young Sanzi to die without even realizing, just so you could take his power. There's no way I'll leave my son in such danger. Gu Santong looked lost. Young Sanzi, come with me if you believe me. I'll explain it later. Zhuo Fan spoke. Gu Santong looked deep in his eyes, then nodded. Kunpeng's eyelid twitched and he mocked. You think you can just leave, Zhuo Fan? Where do you think you are, your backyard? Maybe not before, but now, ha ha ha, things have changed. Zhuo Fan pointed and a huge golden flame appeared. Kunpeng gasped, old dragon's dragon breath pill. The 3-headed crow jerked back in fear. Humph, you think it can hold me? Kunpeng sneered. It may be his strongest attack, but I'm no weakling either. We've been fighting for ages with none coming out on top. You think you can scare me? You're not. Zhuo Fan had a vile smirk. Oh yeah, you sacred beasts never had a winner amongst yourselves. Dragon Ancestor can't beat you, so of course Dragon Breath Pill won't work, though that was before. Kunpeng, remember why you can't leave All Beast Mountain Range. Shuddering, Kunpeng's face fell. Yes, you need the aura of the beasts to hide your own. The Dragon Breath Pill can't take you, but it will destroy All Beast Mountain Range. I wonder if you'll manage to survive when Heavenly Sovereign finds you out and comes to kill you. The azure flame eyes shook and Kunpeng sighed. Clever brat, just take young Sanzi. But are you confident you can keep him safe? He's a sacred beast offspring, but has yet to mature. Many in the mortal domain have the strength to end him. Not before, but now I can. He took back the Dragon Breath Pill and Zhuo Fan's left eye shone with the black thunderflame. Because I am his father, he took Gu Santong's hand and left. Kunpeng watched in shock. What was that? The 3-headed crow rushed over. Master, he did indeed force me to bring him here. He looked from the crow to the distant Zhuo Fan. Kunpeng sighed. I see, so things have indeed changed. The central area, strongest of them all, and ruled by a single nation, Sword Star Empire. While the entire world lay fragmented, the central area was the most united, filled with experts. While ethereal stage experts ran things everywhere else here, they were errand boys just to earn a living. To the point, the guards and patrols in cities were mostly made up of ethereal stage experts. This came as a shock to any cultivator from the other areas. This was a land where one nation ruled, where one power held control, not like theirs, split apart in bits and pieces. Since ethereal stage experts were treated as such, that made all the cultivators below be nothing more than waiters and other odd jobs. So while the outsiders might be seen as young masters in their homes, here, there were strong people at every step, enough to squash them. All they could do was keep their nose down and not make a scene. Among them was one odd pair of father and son. The days of being brash, obnoxious, killing whenever, and running away when they wanted were long gone. This wasn't their home, and they had to be cautious, especially when their lives were on the line. "Halt, where do you come from?" The gate had a huge board over it, engraved with the words "Flying Cloud City." All flying cultivators were landing before it, making a nice queue to enter the city with calm and order. On each side of the gate stood two grizzled old men, releasing their mighty power for all to feel and declare they were rare ethereal stage experts in other areas, but a dime a dozen here. They were given orders to check all newcomers. Something must have happened for the situation to be so tense. A man in black robe, pulling along a cute and adorable 7-year-old boy, approached the guards with a bow. "Seniors, I come from Western lands. We've been hunted down by an enemy and forced to escape here. I hope seniors will help us." Hunted by an enemy? The two squinted and nodded with contempt. "Haha, 5th layer radiant stage, and with a child dragging you back. Of course you'd be hunted. Just go, not like a weakling like you can cause anything." "Yes, thank you, seniors." Bobbing his head, the man in black rushed in and dragged the boy, running even. The two watched the pair with derision. This is being weak, unable to rise above their station all their lives. "Right, those bugs will soon find the central area much harder than Western lands, ha ha ha." The two mocked at their expense and continued with the queue. But then they felt a sudden chill in this clear, whether that made them shudder, like there was some savage beast looming behind them. Swishing around, all they saw was a busy street with people going to and fro. The two looked around in doubt. "Did you feel that, old man?" "Yeah, like some viper was staring me down, about to take my life." "You too?" "Yeah." The other old man nodded, but then he shook his head. "Must be our imagination. It's only been a month since Lord Dongfang slaughtered hundreds of soul harmony experts, driving fear into us. Now everyone is in a panic, but there's no way those thieves would do anything in broad daylight. Especially not targeting nobodies like us, ha ha ha." "Yeah, sometimes weakness is good. At least those that are strong will ignore us," the other one said with a dry laugh. Then he turned serious and went on with his job. Ironic how they already forgot that just now they laughed at the father and son's weakness. In a dark corner of the city, the man in the black robe held the child's mouth without budging. When the gate situation calmed down, he eased a breath and let go. The child threw a fit, roaring, "Dad, did those old coots look down on me? This hasn't happened since I came out the first time. If you hadn't stopped me, I'd have their heads in my hands right now. If you'd have done that, then we'd be doomed as well." The man in black smiled. Zhuo Fan was like a totally different man now. His eyes looked bright, his face calm, curbing his evil tendencies to the max. Patting Gu Santong's head, Zhuo Fan smiled. "This isn't Western lands. Flying Cloud City is the center of one of the central area's 9 domains. The ruler is one dreadful expert. Meeting him will make it very hard for us. What's there to fear? Don't you have dragon ancestors' dragon breath pill? Just blow it in his face and he's toast." Gu Santong stuck out his head while shouting. Zhuo Fan sighed. "There are only 2 dragon breath pills left. I don't want to use them unless absolutely necessary. In the mortal domain, a treasure like dragon breath pill is of utmost value. Especially that." Zhuo Fan's eyes were firm. "People have to be strong themselves to be safe. I don't want to ruin my cultivation with tools. That's why these past 2 years you trained in that true self-art thingy, regressing your cultivation?" Gu Santong pouted. Zhuo Fan shook his head. "True self-art is an art for the heart, not to set my cultivation back. Looking weak is just that, appearances, when in fact it brings me close to self. If not for the 2 years spent training in it, who knows how broken my heart would be in this situation. Thoughts give birth to demons and saints. Maybe I'd have already sunk into a demonic state by now, unable to see the surface. My true cultivation easily reached the 5th layer ethereal stage, all thanks to true self-art's calming effect. Elder Yuan truly was my master." Seeing his vibrant eyes, Gu Santong sighed, knowing he was recalling the people he forsook. But then he pointed at his neck and grumbled, "What's with this golden locket then? It's hideous, like I'm some wee child." Aren't you?" Zhuo Fan pinched his cute cheeks, teasing, "Young Sanzi, any parent would want to see their child grow up healthy. I made the Everlife locket myself with all my love. You have to wear it." Gu Santong's face twitched. "Dad, but I'm 300 years old, not some kid. You think I don't know what it does? It just hides my strength. I'm in the 6th layer ethereal stage, but with this thing on, I look like a defenseless 7-year-old. All the way here, everyone's been pinching and ruffling my hair so much, I'd be dead if you didn't stop them. Hold it in for now. You're just too freaky. Have you seen any other ethereal stage kid around?" Zhuo Fan waved his hand. Exposing your strength would be the same as a jester, getting everyone's attention in the central area. How are we supposed to work then? I know that. Dad made the demonic treasure to hide my aura, but couldn't you have made it smaller and not so flashy? It's humiliating wearing this huge thing. Yes, you're so precious. Zhuo Fan cut his grumbling short. Look at your childish and cute face. Isn't it innocent? Adding the Everlife locket and you're an angel. No one would ever believe an angel like you hides a savage beast. You'll be the ultimate weapon. Think about it, when we meet some enemy too tough to fight, everyone will ignore you, leaving you room to break them with your fist. Ain't that cool? Gu Santong scrunched up his cute face, then nodded. Makes sense. That's my dad already setting up the stage. Dad, when will we fight him? Hopefully never. Zhuo Fan's eye twitched and turned around at the city's center. The former best of eastern lands, Shangyuan Feiyan, now the lord of one of Central Area's 9 domains, lives there. It would be best if we can avoid him. Zhuo Fan's eyes grew hard.